talking just now. So
Here we go. Welcome, all you wrestling fans, to the 23rd episode of the Pop-Up Powerbomb podcast. I'm your host, the Moon Man himself, and I'm a partner in crime, the Cerebral Pineapple Powerbomb Paul. Tonight, wrestling
yeah,
fans, we share our thoughts on some interesting topics, including 2K with a huge info dump and release date for the new WWE 2K24. We're going to be talking here in a bit. That looks phenomenal. I like all the different cover athletes for it. I think they've chosen well. We also talk about Okada leaving New Japan, and now he's left with a decision. Both WWE and AEW have put offers on the table. We speculate, of course, on the upcoming weekend's Royal Rumble pay-per-view, the first big PLE for WWE, and an interesting one at that as it continues to build some steam, and we've got more. I got my coffee. I hope you all got yours, or a nice cold beverage and snacks. And I hope everybody also is ready for some story time, baby. Let's see who we got in the chat. We got the Rockin' One already up in here, of course. Always great to see you, love. The legendary Yobi, Mr. Peace Love Life, is in the building as well. Another fantastic, not only friend of the show, but wrestling aficionado. He knows his stuff. We love having him here in the chat, so it's great to see. Of course, don't forget to hit that like button, share this out, and
especially share it out because we actually started about 20 minutes earlier than scheduled. So
yes, we did. we got started early. I suppose it's better than starting late, I suppose. But yeah, tell everybody about it that you know that's a wrestling fan. Get them on in here because we got some good topics tonight. But let's get right into it. How you been, Paul? And what's your excitement level, man, for the Royal Rumble coming up?
I am really psyched for some of the stuff we're going to see in the Royal Rumble. Some of those matches should be really good. I spent this last weekend binging all of the No Way Out things that they did over the years. Some really amazing matches. At the same time, some really parts that made me feel the feels because it had like matches with wrestlers that are no longer with us for good, bad, or indifferent. They had one actually where they listed a bunch of people that I think it was actually an ECW thing where they listed all the wrestlers that had passed away. Amazing how many wrestlers passed away in their early 40s.
Yes.
They listed a lot. I'm like, wow.
Has been a lot.
Yeah. So I was kind of in the fields this weekend, but enjoying some good wrestling matches. Seeing, from like 15 years ago, the likes of Cody and the likes of some of the guys that we're used to seeing now. With some of them had hair back then, and were a lot thinner back then. Yeah.
Even Cody, man. I mean, I know he's still not the biggest guy, but you can tell he's put on more bulk than his first run in WWE. You know what I mean? So
yeah, he was a skinny little boy back then. Yeah,
I'll tell you who had a big transformation from back then. Drew McIntyre. He was as skinny as a stick, and now look at he is put on the bulk. He's big boy now. He actually looks like a wrestler now. Beforehand, you were sitting back going, "Wow."
well, the thing is, he's always been really tall, but now he's filled it out. I mean, he's a giant now. He really
exactly. No, he's hardcore, man. And just a quick note, since we brought him up, he still has not signed a new contract. His contract with WWE is up. WrestleMania is his last date. And rumors are circling whether or not he's going to re-sign, or is he going to take time off, go back to Scotland, which he's talked about for a while, or will he sign with another promotion? Right now, if I was going to pick one, I think he might actually not re-sign straight away, and he might take some time away for a bit. Now
does he have a match at WrestleMania?
I'm not sure, but I'm guessing he probably will in some way, shape, or form. I think he will. They do it over 2 nights now, so I'm sure he will be in some sort of match. But no, if I was going to take a guess, I think he doesn't sign anything and he goes He's talked
Right.
about it for a while now that he's missed being home.
Yeah.
Obviously, all his family's back there. His dad and everything like that. And it's been a minute. Like he's had in a recent interview, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
So I think the man deserves some time off.
Yeah.
I
The only
couldn't.
thing I think is if he does decide to take time off, even if they do quote give him a title shot, he's going to probably lose
Yeah.
because they're not going to have him take a title and then go
No,
away.
no, exactly. So I think he'll take time away. He'll, give his body a rest. He'll catch up with family that he probably hasn't seen in a while. He hasn't seen his wife for a little bit either, because she's back over there. And so, yeah, I mean, I think he's earned it. I don't think he's on any bad terms with anyone backstage or Triple H like that. So I don't. Unless something else comes out that he's not happy about something, I don't foresee him going to another company. I think he
Right.
will be back at some point. I just think he might be a bit burned out, which we know a lot of these guys and girls do get from time to time. They're on the road pretty much 365 days a year, and although it's great, I think it's going to be
Right.
starting a tradition now. Triple H, he gives all of the wrestlers off now, where Vince didn't for Christmas. That
Right.
started last year. So yeah, no, I think he comes back at some point. I just think
Yeah.
he takes a step
Yeah.
away. Uh,
And one of the biggest differences with him is his family is way out in Scotland, so it's not like
yeah,
these
yeah,
stateside guys who can take a week off and go home or whatever,
right, right.
or have a chance of wrestling in their home city or close to it. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I know Becky lives in America, obviously, because she's married to Seth Rollins. But I mean, she's another one, and I'm pretty sure she's had I don't know if it was a mum or a dad, but a sick parent anyway. And I'm quite sure that when she can, she'll take some bloody time off and time away for a bit again herself. Go back to Ireland, and
Right.
uh, Jameis has probably been doing that himself while he's been off. Probably that's probably the only benefit, as long as you can get around, mind you. If you
Right.
have a serious injury, is that's the time that you can catch up with your family and stuff like that. Until such time, obviously, you can fully
Yeah.
get back in the gym and start preparing yourself again. But no, man, I'm excited for this Royal Rumble. I tell you. Apart from one particular match which we talked about last week, there's a lot of surprises I'm expecting in both the men's and women's Rumble to show up, whether it be legends or free agents.
Right.
There's been rumours, of course, about Okada. There's been rumours about MJF. There's been rumours
So
about
you told me to break in what you just uh
yeah.
Seth just said he's going to take this title into WrestleMania, so he's not going to relinquish up to that point.
Oh, great, that's great. So it
So
mustn't
he's
be as bad
planning
as.
on going to WrestleMania at this point.
Yeah, well,
So
that's our first top. That's good. That means that it's not as bad as they initially thought. So that's a good thing. But like, yeah, Carter's out there. MJF rumors are
yeah.
out there. Mercedes Moné, obviously formerly Sasha Banks, and Trinity. Both there's rumors about them showing up. And of course, there's been some speculation on a few legends that might show up. Including not a legend per se, but another former AEW wrestler who is legitimately no longer with the company, Sean Spears, who is known as the chairman in AEW, great friends with Cody Rhodes. He has put a little hint out there that he may show up at the Royal Rumble. Um, so this is why I love the Royal Rumble, because it's usually an event that you get a lot of surprise, even if they're just one-offs. With legends showing up in the Rumble, it's always cool to see.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of unpredictability. You don't know who's going to win the women's at all. There's not really a clear-cut few that you could pick out. Same with the men's. It could be anybody's game itself. Although I'd say the two that may be names that be above the rest to take the men's out would be CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. Most of the matches should be fire. The only one I'm really not looking forward to is Roman's match, but
Yeah.
that's only because I kind of know who's going to come out. That's why I would love him to throw a spanner in the works and surprise me and have him drop the belt, but I don't foresee
And I
happening.
said before the show, because I did watch all that No Way Out this weekend, I really wish for that match they would have brought back the Elimination Chamber. That would stop any interference from his buddies, because if you really look at all his matches, we've talked about this before.
Well,
he never wins without interference.
I think
ever.
Nick Aldis should come out on SmackDown, and he should turn around and say, if anybody interferes on your behalf, including Paul Heyman getting up on the apron, you will be pulled from. I don't know, some sort of stipulate. You'll be pulled from the match. Therefore, we will be guaranteed a new champion. Because
that's why Elimination Chamber works, because no matter who wins, no matter if the belt holder is eliminated, he's automatically out. Because that's what they did one year. That's what they did one year.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe WWE, there's certain people in the higher ups backstage that's obviously disagreeing and going back and forth whether or not Roman should be allowed to hold the title to defeat Hogan's record. And the only reason I say that, if you remember, it was in the last couple of SmackDowns, Nick Aldis, and they wouldn't put this in their storyline wise unless there was some contemplating, in my opinion, backstage. Nick Aldis went out there, if you remember, and said, if Roman doesn't do this, we'll strip him of the belt.
Yep.
Right. That's the first time in this whole run that's been put in there for somebody to say a part of this storyline for him. And so that got me thinking. I'm like, I wonder if there's like a bit of disagreement backstage between Triple H and a few of the writers, or through a few other higher ups, of, do we really want to continue this run considering people are bored of it? Like, we know what we set out initially to do, but look, how many times have we heard between one WrestleMania to another WrestleMania plans always change? Like, they have things set in stone. I think Roman and The Rock was meant to happen like 2 WrestleManias ago, and obviously twice plans had changed, and we're finally going to get it now.
Yep. Yeah, that's why, I think you're right. And I'm wondering if we might end up with another situation like what happened with Russo and Bischoff.
Yeah.
Where they just drop and flop, or if they somehow just steal the belt from him and go, well, that's it, you're done,
Hey, what's good, Carlo? What's good, brother? Great to see you in here, man.
Yeah, we started early, so now Carlo's up during the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
he's not in bed yet.
He's not in bed, snoring his head off. Counting sheepies. But look, no, like, look, don't get me wrong, I've been interested since they first talked about The Rock and Roman Reigns, but I always thought when they were going to do it, Roman wouldn't have a title. And so that way, with Roman not having a title and them two having a match, that makes the match more unpredictable of, okay, Roman's not a surefire thing here to win it because there's no title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the only chance really, because they've already said he's not showing up at Elimination Chamber, right? And he's not showing up at the pay-per-view after WrestleMania, which is Backlash. So this
is Backlash, no Elimination Chamber. So
this is the only big pay-per-view before WrestleMania that you got your chance. And as I mentioned last week, you've got your chance to take the belt off of him. And in this type of match, he does not have to be the one to be pinned. So,
no.
Which I would do anyway, just because, he's playing that hockey heel, but he likes to have a whinge sometimes. And that'll give him something to whinge about, like, well, I never lost my title. I never got pinned. You know how they always do, like a triple threat, if they lose the belt, they're not the one to get pinned. And so you could have him do that, and then that could add to, like, what The Rock has to come back to him. Like, you cry baby, you call yourself the head of the table, and here you are whinging. Like, the head of a table wouldn't whinge. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, so...
Well, I mean, and if you really want to surprise us, let The Rock win the belt for a month or two.
Well, if they're not going to have Randy or LA Knight, I personally think it has to be one of those. I know AJ has been thrown in there too, but... Randy and
AJ, for me, it shouldn't be AJ. It should be one of the other two.
Randy, because that's a long-term storyline playing off, because they took him out and he was out for so long. And LA Knight, because he's still got all the momentum in the world, and like he still, again, storyline wise, mentioned he was within, half a second of defeating Roman. If it
Yep.
wasn't for Jimmy Uso, so that would be what I would do. I'd have one of them beat him. And so the WrestleMania match is just Rock versus Roman, and they can build it as who really is the head of the table. There's no title. The only title on the line is who's the head of the table, who's the true head of the table.
Or like you said, truly just go in there and say, hey, look, if you don't show up or if anybody interferes, including Heyman, then we're just going to strip you of the title.
Yeah.
And you're out. And one of the other three will win the title at that point.
Exactly. What's good, John Rock Farmer? Welcome in, sir. Dreadpool, the man with the mythical beard, my brother. Good to see you too, sir. Rocking out. Well, all right. Let's get into the first topic, especially now that he's had his segment, which helps us know exactly where it's at. So, obviously, it was well and truly reported before his speech tonight. Seth Rollins. The championship was I just didn't know what was going to happen because I didn't know how bad it was. He got injured last week. You quite clearly see he had a bad limp after his match with Jinder. In fact, he did have to be helped backstage. It was not known, obviously, how bad it was. There was a lot that thought it was a MCL tear. Where he definitely messed his knee up to some sort of degree. And so there was rumours up until tonight, which we got clarification, thank God. Because you never really like seeing someone have to relinquish their title. I really don't.
And I will say, they probably will keep that backup plan in line in case he doesn't heal the way they want him to.
Yeah.
But at least he's planning on going to WrestleMania, planning on leaving WrestleMania with the title.
I'm thinking that whoever he versus at WrestleMania, which at this stage we believe it to be CM Punk, I think he'll drop the title and then decide from there if he's going to do surgery. So maybe we don't see him actually wrestle between. He'll show up, but I mean, unlike Roman, he's got a legit reason for not wrestling if he's. It doesn't really matter how messed up it is. I mean, he was limping tonight, like you said, so. You don't want him aggravating.
Oh yeah, they even had Gunther get in the ring with him, and there was no surprise, there was no bump or anything like that because I think his leg is truly hurt.
Yes,
so they weren't let's not mess around.
I think that he'll get some sort of injections or something, and not that to get through WrestleMania.
Oh my God! Real quick, tonight is Dominic versus The Miz. I don't know who I don't want to root for more.
But look, we had no idea still, because it still hasn't really come out exactly how bad the injury is. Obviously, he's going to be, or he feels like he's going to be fine to go. I'm with you. I think they will have backup plans in place if he isn't ready to go. But my way of thinking is that his knee is messed up, but Seth being Seth Rollins.
Well, I've already seen one backup plan listed on Twitter, possibly. So I they will probably keep that in play just in case. Because he can say all he wants that he thinks he'll be good, but you and I both know that athletes like that always think they're better than they are. From football to baseball.
I'm telling you now, he'd drag himself through a match even with a broken leg.
Yeah,
that's just Seth Rollins.
Just like what's his name did? Was it with a broken rib and shit like that?
I mean, look at Cody, who
went
through the match.
Yeah,
with
Cody
Seth
did that shit. Yeah,
with the pectoral, completely torn off.
The bruise. Oh, that was ugly. That was so fucking ugly.
And he went through that match, then took his time off. So. That's probably what I see happening. Is Seth will wrestle his match. You probably won't see him doing anything off a top rope. Would be my guess, or something like that, where he has to spring because he might not have that spring in his leg at the moment.
And they like they've done before. They might put him in a hard knee brace, like they've done,
and he will
with some of the others, and
drop the title to whoever it is at WrestleMania, and then he'll go away and. If he needs surgery. Otherwise, he'll go away for a bit and heal up.
And then he can come back and do what they do. And Jinder, you took me out X months ago, and now I'm gonna take you out.
Yeah. So I'm glad that I mean, they're not silly. They're used to this. I mean,
Yeah.
injuries happen, so it's good that they've probably got a plan B and a plan C if need be.
And they've gotten better about this ever since Vince has kind of taken a back seat. They've gotten better about taking care of their athletes. You know.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
You know, and look, if it gets close enough, like even if it's a couple of weeks away, and they're not happy, like especially someone like Triple H goes, look, you really can't even put weight on this damn thing. Like, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be watching him at the training center, because I'm sure he'll be at the training center trying to see what he can do.
If they're not happy with him, then they'll do a storyline where he gets taken out backstage or something on Raw, or in the ring on Raw, he gets beaten the crap out of, and they'll have him relinquish the title that way. Somewhat, you know, they'll find a storyline anyway, and then clearly, obviously,
like I said, as long as there's a way where he can come back, he can come back and get the title back, because this isn't the way you want to relinquish your title, because you can't wrestle.
No,
you want to, you know.
And we've seen it before, as I said. I mean, if we all remember when Finn Balor first won at that time, he won it the night before, but he messed his I think it was his shoulder or whatever it was, up so bad he had to relinquish the next night. And that sucks. I mean, that really does suck, because obviously that wasn't even clearly the plan with him back then, and they were going to go on a bit of a tear with him as a champ. He was, you know, one of the most over guys at that point in time in his career. Seth is clearly one of the top baby faces in the company right now. You know, so yeah. I mean, I'm praying for the guy. He's a big match guy. You know, so I'm praying that he can at least get through the WrestleMania match and then go from there and decide on, as I said, if he needs surgery or if he just needs time off to heal whatever is going to happen there. But clearly, at the moment, as you could see on Raw, he still can't obviously put a lot of weight on it. So,
he didn't even get all flashy when he was coming out from the back like he tends to do. He just kind of limped out there.
Exactly. So, I mean, for all we know, it might not even be a full tear. It could be a small tear, and even then, it's still going to be quite painful. Especially when it's your MCL, your knee. Your knee. Even if you do a hardcore, you know, twist, or you know, twist it the wrong way, or something, you hurt your knee and you bugger your knee. It's really hard to bloody walk. And with him being a guy that likes to spring off the ropes or off the top rope, that's just not going to happen at the moment, unfortunately. So we will see as the weeks leading into WrestleMania continues to develop. As I said, he's still got at least 2 months before WrestleMania, so hopefully he can get that leg somewhat right. And we'll definitely be praying for the man, because I'd rather see him defend and lose it that way than have to relinquish, especially considering not only is he the first champion of that particular new world title, he's really made that the title in, you know, the most prestigious title in the whole of WWE. I know some might come back at me and go, no, Roman's is, but for me, no, Seth's is, because Roman's been sitting at home more than not, and so I think he's devalued that title. If he wasn't sitting at home as much as he has, then I would say that is the most valued and the most prestigious, obviously, because of, you know, him having a. If you're looking at just the numbers and historical run, but
look at it weekly. Most people don't talk about Roman's title anymore.
No,
they really don't. It's
it's all about. It's all about Seth's title, and he's the working man's man. That's the working title, and it's, you know, I mean, for a bit there, he was nearly defending it every single freaking Raw. So, you know, it was showcased, and he's really made that title something. And so it'd be good if he can go out on his sword, so to speak, when it pertains to that title. But moving on to our second topic of the evening, which is an interesting one. Japan's biggest name, their biggest superstar, the man who really elevated New Japan Pro Wrestling. His contract is up. I think he's got 2 more dates left, and Kashika Okada is becoming a free agent, and he's deciding on where he is going to go. He's got 2 major offers on the table. Both AEW and WWE are vying for his signature. Hey, what's good, Teme? What's good, Raw? Good to see you both. So he explained his decision too to leave New Japan, which his contract expires. I think it's a day or 2 before the Royal Rumble this week. His contract officially expires. However, he has got some final matches in New Japan in February that he'd just be working on handshake wise. Now, here's the thing. Either company, whoever decides to sign him, if I was WWE, I'd be straight onto it and say, look, we want to bring you in for a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble, and we're still happy for you to go do your last 2 dates you want to do in February over in New Japan. We just want your signature on the dotted line. But yeah, so in an interview though with Tokyo Sports, he discussed his decision to part ways with New Japan. He mentioned that his contract was up for renewal this year, and after 5 years with the company, it felt like the right time to consider his options. He did contemplate initially whether to sign another contract in New Japan or explore opportunities elsewhere, and he's decided to explore his opportunities elsewhere. And so he wants new challenges. I think WWE has something that AEW doesn't have, so maybe the one foot's already in the door with WWE is his best friend wrestles for WWE and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Right.
So that could help them land him. Right now, as we look across the industry, and I know he's just built a good working relationship up with TNA. There was a bit of bad blood between him and Impact Wrestling before they went back to TNA because of how they treated him once, but the current management wasn't in place at that time. So I know he's sorted stuff out there too. They obviously could sign him, but they just couldn't offer the type of money, obviously, clearly, that the 2 big players can right now, even though they're back on the up and up.
Right.
But look, if I had a choice, I'd still sign with TNA over, even if it was just slightly less money, I'd still sign with TNA over AEW, that's for sure. So clearly, if he's got 2 choices in mind, I know where I'd be going right now is WWE. But
I will say one thing he has to consider with AEW is if he does have a few more matches with New Japan, AEW is more than likely going to release him to go do that.
Yeah, I think WWE though's changing their stance on a few things, and I'll tell you why. I think they would sign him and allow him to still do that because they just sent William Regal's kid, who is under contract with them, we know he wrestles in NXT, to wrestle in the All Japan Pro Wrestling tournament, which is the second biggest company over in Japan, right?
Right.
And so I think, and they're willing to do things with New Japan and All Japan. They've mentioned it. They would love to be in bed with both of them to do things like similar AEW. So I don't think that they would have a problem because at the end of the day, it's only 2 dates, literally 2 dates.
Yeah.
In February, and then that's it. So
well, what I'm saying is, yeah, if I was him, if he does, he hopefully he would clear that. He would make sure that was part of the deal with
well, I think
WWE.
I think now that Triple H is in charge, I think there's more lenience there. He's been willing to let some of the superstars even go back to some of their indie promotions, right? He did it with Austin Theory. So he's been a little bit more open to it. And so I think he wouldn't let 2 dates left in New Japan stand his way.
The only thing I would also consider is is there room in WWE for another big name? Because they get to the point where people get kind of buried, and not on purpose, because there's only so much space for so many stories.
Exactly.
Now, the fact that he's good friends with Shinsuke Nakamura could automatically pull him in as to help Shinsuke do his heel thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but you have to make sure that there's room for his story to be told, in a
If I
sense,
was
you
a
know.
Carter too, this is what I would do. Cody had it in his contract. I'd be putting in my contract. I want a run at some point with your top heavyweight championship because
Yeah,
he is a main event player. He is, as I said, the biggest star that New Japan
right.
has ever produced in a long, 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 long time. He is, he's above Shinsuke Nakamura. Put it that way, in star power and everything. Uh, you need
Well, what
to.
I like about Shinsei is the personality.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I like
yeah.
about Shinsei. I
But
I, I get a dig off that, you know.
Okada,
I get,
yeah, I think needs to stipulate what Cody stipulated and said. Right, it doesn't need to be straight away by any means. Let me earn it, but I want at least one run with either Roman's title or Seth's top at some point when you can fit me into the main event scene. And he'll be happy to work from the bottom up. They're so used to doing that in Japan. He's a hard worker. Hard work's nothing for him. He'll start at the bottom and work his way up. I don't believe he needs to run an NXT at all. He's too top tier caliber for that. Uh, if anything, I would probably because you've got. I wouldn't put him on SmackDown. I'd put him on Raw. Uh, Especially if Seth's going to take time out after WrestleMania, because you're going to need another top flight babyface. I don't even think when they bring him in, he's been a babyface for so long. And so I think straight away when they first bring him in, he will be. Maybe at some point they'll do a heel run with him, but I think they'll bring him in babyface, Rainmaker. I'm pretty sure he owns the right to that moniker. And he's lent it to New Japan. So yeah, this is a big deal because if you bring in him, that's going to open the door to possibly a working relationship with New Japan.
yep.
And you could send talents back and forth. Like I would love to see WWE especially because Paul Triple H
Yeah.
is more open to doing business and stuff with things, and he just sent, as I said,
Yep.
Regal's kid to All Japan's tournament. I'd love to see him send some of WWE's top flight talent into the G1 Climax, which
Yeah.
is one of the biggest tournaments in wrestling, not just in Japan, but in wrestling. Um, and there's a lot of good, huge cross.
Yep.
I mean, like if New Japan
Yeah.
thinks working with AEW's big, like wait till you start working with WWE on such a grand scale. It would be awesome.
I would say that it would be cool then if you're saying he would make a good face, um, have him surprise come in and spoil one of Shinsei's matches when
Yeah, he would.
Shinsei thinking,
I'd love
yeah,
to see that be his first feud, actually. And because they're
yeah,
really, really good friends, they've worked with each other plenty of times before.
yeah,
The chemistry would be there straight off the bat. And it'd be
yeah,
a great way to introduce him, And as I
yeah,
said, fans are going to get right behind. They're going to cheer him instantly the minute he shows up because even when he goes into TNA, even when he's come to AEW, the fans eat him up. They love him. They love singing along to his music. They just
yeah.
love the Rainmaker. So he'll definitely be a babyface. When he first comes in, I have no doubt about that. And it's going to be interesting just to see the company he decides to sign with. But I feel WWE would be better suited. I mean, if you watch his New Japan stuff, his particular style, even though he can wrestle clearly, obviously, because he'd been over there, wrestle the stiff Japanese style, he very much wrestled a WWE style,
Right.
right? WWE would be a perfect fit, especially it'd be a lot easier on the body. That's why when I was kind of disappointed that Kenny didn't take the opportunity, especially at his age, to when he was a free agent to go to WWE, it would have been easier on his body, the style, compared to AEW's where it literally wrecks you. And so, uh, as I said, he's got two great offers on the table.
Yep.
and the reports are suggesting that AEW made a strong initial offer, but again, he hasn't signed with anybody. He's obviously still going back and forth. He has told people he's not close to making a final decision yet. So it's a situation that remains fluid. But if I was him, I would. This is the thing. So when I listen to Meltzer and Alvarez, right? Meltzer stated, and he made a lot of sense here, and I know Meltzer speaks a lot of BS too, but there's other times where you sit back and you're like, you know what, he actually makes a lot of sense here. And so he said he's going to go with, Okada's going to go with whoever presents the most appealing offer. He goes, I've spoken to individuals who are close to him, and as of the past few days, he has not reached a decision either way yet. It's not a secret, he simply hasn't made up his mind. Some in AEW are optimistic, while others are more cautious. In WWE, there's hope and belief that they can secure his services by or before, just before the Royal Rumble. One individual mentioned that Okada may prioritize legacy, and the WWE is offering the possibility of achieving that, even if it means a potentially lower salary than AEW's. Ultimately, Okada is poised to earn well regardless, no matter which path he chooses. So, if it's legacy that he wants to continue and to continue to build on, I think you have to go WWE, because they will handle him better. I Tony may have a little hard on for him because it's like, hey, it's Japan's biggest guy, biggest name, rah rah rah. But we've all seen how he mishandles superstars over there.
Mm.
And as I said, if I was leaving one company and TNA's on the uprising too, I'd be choosing WWE, or if not, I'd be choosing TNA before I'd be looking at AEW. Even if AEW's got the biggest money offer out there, I still would be choosing one of the other two, because you would be treated and used correctly. You'd be treated better, and it'd help build more to your legacy. I mean, in AEW, he could really get lost in the shuffle a little bit over there, and they may not present him well because they don't know how to present half their wrestlers. And so I don't think it wouldn't obviously tarnish his legacy, but it just wouldn't add to it. And I think that's what he's looking to do. So if I was him, I would very, very strongly, and I really hope Shinsuke's in his ear, I would very, very strongly consider WWE. Because I think
But even you've said
place.
previously that WWE has mishandled Shinsei too. So I mean,
yeah,
there is a history there, there.
Yeah, and so I think he'd be better off in WWE, but clearly, obviously, it's going to be his choice. But
right, I'm sure he's having those discussions with Shinsei.
yeah,
what has gone right, what has gone wrong. Well,
yeah, exactly. See, I just don't think I think WWE treats Shinsuke well, but I just don't think they view him as a guy that could hold the top title and run with it. That's just my view, and I think they see him as that upper mid carder, borderline on the odd occasion main event of like to help elevate somebody else kind of thing. But and the other difference is Okada's younger, so Okada's only in his mid-30s. Shinsuke's older than Shinsuke's in his 40s. So that might work to Okada's benefit as well, but he's also a bigger name. He was even a bigger name when Shinsuke was over there. Shinsuke was a big name for Japan, but it was always Okada and Tanahashi. They were the two biggest New Japan stars. You couldn't get any bigger. So I think WWE will look at Okada differently to Shinsuke. Like he's a bigger deal. Like Shinsuke's big, but this guy is another level again. And I think it might actually be the first Japanese wrestler that comes in and actually takes one of their top titles, and has a good run with it. He's got that pulling power. And they want to get WWE more exposure in Japan and bigger. What better way to sign their biggest superstar in the last 25 years and have him win one of your top titles? You know, especially if he's the champion at the time that they go do a massive Japanese tour. That would
Yeah.
be off the chain. I mean, look, they did it, right? And this is the way I'm looking at it. They'll definitely do that with Okada, considering they did that with Jinder, and Jinder is a lesser talented wrestler, lesser name than Okada. And they did it with him when he was the WWE champ, and they did the tour of India and stuff. Um, so yeah, I think WWE is the way to go. As I said, I hope Shinsuke's in his ear saying, "Look, come over here. They'll treat you right. They'll present you as a mega superstar. You know, it's got all the flash. They know how to tell a story. Um, you know, and regardless of WWE might not view Shinsuke as a world champion material, there, I've got to admit them how they've handled his heel character has been really really good. I think like that
Mm.
those promos you see on the big screen where he's doing the video promos and stuff, they've been some really good stuff. And so yeah, Carter's probably seeing that and going, you know what, they're doing all right by my friend there, and Shinsuke might be all right just putting someone like Cody over and stuff. We don't know that, maybe he
Right.
doesn't need to have a run with the top title. He would have been just probably happy being in the main event 3 times in a row, kind of thing. So, yeah, so like he was in that. It was that feud with Cody and helped elevate Cody. He was in the feud with Seth and helped elevate Seth even higher again. And so especially since Seth was the champion as well. So, he was a good heel to their babyface. So, interesting to see. Mate, well, I've got my fingers crossed that Okada shows up at the Royal Rumble. That would be insane. Obviously, he wouldn't win the Rumble match, but just to see him come in and kick some ass in the Rumble before, obviously, he got thrown out by someone would be really awesome.
Yeah.
It's the same with MJF. That would be amazing just to see him turn up, and he doesn't have to win it to get a reaction. He just to show up because no one will be like expecting it.
No.
Um,
No, and from watching the old shows I've been watching all weekend, MJF would definitely get a pop when he showed up. If he
Oh
showed up.
yeah. Even if they brought him in
Mm.
his back, turned him back to his heel self, brought him in that way, he'd still get a pop just because. Hey, this is MJF. He's in WWE. Oh my god,
Yeah.
Because as I said, there's still like, look, I'm not saying he will, and I'm not saying he won't, but there's still that speculation as to if he is indeed a free agent or has he actually re-signed with AEW. No one freaking really knows, and they took him off the roster page, and we know this could all just be Tony trying to do a story here and make people believe, that we know that, but if he shows up at the Royal Rumble, well, then obviously, clearly, it's not a story, and he was a free agent, and that's the way I'll view it anyway. Like, well, he's at the Rumble. He's obviously not under AEW contract, otherwise this wouldn't happen. So we will all soon find out this coming weekend. But as I said, you've got his name out there. You've got Okada's name out there. You've got another guy who just finished up with New Japan that WWE's looked at for a while. Tamatoga is another one. He's a free agent now. A couple of the members of the Bullet Club over there, they're free agents now. As I said, Mercedes Monet's a free agent. Trinity's now a free agent, which it is expected she will come back to the company her husband's in. Maybe she ends up joining the Bloodline. I don't know how they'll bring her in, but you got some free agent names out there all leading into this Royal Rumble. So it's, as I said, that's half the reason I love the Rumble this time of year leading into WrestleMania. You get so many surprises pop up that some aren't even on your bingo card. Some you might go, oh, okay, I could see that come, but some you're just like, what? Wow, okay, here we go. So yeah, looking forward to that. But moving on to our second last topic, and these last two topics are going to be our bigger topics. And this was awesome. Yesterday, 2K Games did a huge info dump, um, and on WWE 2K, and I was over the moon because you had three different covers, um, and your boy made the standard cover, as we're well
Yep,
away. Cody Rhodes.
which was the right choice if you ask me. So,
Yeah, it
back when they
was.
ran the poll, I said he would be my number one pick.
Oh yeah,
So,
oh yeah. Of course, two women are on the deluxe version in Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, and
yep.
then the most expensive version of the game, I thought has a really epic design. 40-year anniversary of WrestleMania cover, which has abundance of superstars from today and yesteryear on it. So great cover. All three are fantastic covers. Probably some of the best covers I've actually seen for their game in a while. To be quite fair.
Yeah.
And this
I
year,
will say that I actually looked it up though. The actual 40th anniversary is the year 2025.
right,
Um,
right.
but I guess because that WWK or two is 2K24 is the 2025 version, but
Mm.
so
But man, I'm excited for this, right? For an abundance of reason. All right. This, I know they've used the tagline, this is going to be the best game ever, rah rah, or biggest roster. This, though, definitely has the potential to go down in history as the best wrestling game ever created. Like, legit, I'm talking more legitimate, not just them using an advertising tagline. And not just that, but the true, finally, I know they've used it in the past, oh, we're going to have the biggest roster ever. And this year, I don't think there's any game that's come out before it that's going to touch the size of this goddamn roster this year. Because when I seen the number that they dropped, I was sitting there going, I've never seen a roster that size. Obviously, it's going to have all current superstars as well as legends. So let's unpack all this. Let's get into it. So obviously developed by Visual Concepts, 2K24, as I mentioned, features a WrestleMania mode that's going to let users play through iconic moments in WrestleMania history. So I'm guessing that's going to be the the story mode, the John Cena type mode, that from last
right.
year, which I think is going to be awesome. And Cody's story is going to be a part of that. You're also going to get 4 new match types, including ambulance match and a special guest referee match. We haven't had a special guest referee in a WWE game for a long time.
I was gonna say I don't remember that since like the early 2000s. Maybe the
Yeah,
last time they did
yeah,
that.
yeah. 2 new My Rise experiences. And here we go. A roster of more than 200. Yes, you heard that right, folks. More than 200 WWE superstars and legends, including the likes of Roman Reigns, Andre the Giant, Becky Lynch, Batista, Kurt Angle, Asuka, Bret Hart, Brock Lesnar, Macho Man Randy Savage, China,
Yeah.
John Cena, and many more. Elsewhere,
My only real quick, my only worry with that is they're either going to nickel and dime you with, hey, you can buy this pass and get these wrestlers, or they're going to be behind locked doors that you have to do these stupid little stunts to unlock them.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
my only worry with that.
yeah, yeah, they're going to make you work for it, but so like how AEW made you work hard for Owen Hart.
Yeah. And I still haven't got Owen Hart. I don't know that I ever will. So
So elsewhere, there is also now the ability to move the camera during live gameplay and improvements to the ramp cameras and dive cameras.
oh good.
Here's a quote also from Cody Rhodes. He said, I've been known to keep a checklist of key milestones I want to experience on the path to finishing my story. As an avid gamer, being named 2K cover superstar is very close to the top of that list, and I'm very happy to work with the teams at 2K and Visual Concepts to bring that dream to life. Okay, so Here is more of the official blurb on 2K24. So the 2K Showcase, that's what it's going to be called, the 2K Showcase of the Immortals. For 40 years, WrestleMania has captivated millions of fans around the globe as superstars became legends and spectacular moments alike. From Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant to Mr. WrestleMania Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker putting on a match for the ages and many, many more cemented WWE Hall of Fame legacies. The grandest stage of them all has drawn earth-shaking roars from 100,000 plus in attendance as the biggest icons in WWE made history and left every drop of blood, sweat and tears in the squared circle. 40 years in the making, the 2K24 Showcase of the Immortals puts players in control, playing through the most iconic moments in WrestleMania history as 2K's distinctive slingshot tech seamlessly morphs gameplay to live action footage and back again for the most immersive WrestleMania video game experience to date. Host of unlockable content adds challenge and replay value to this historical experience.
Unlockable content. There it is.
Yeah. Iconic roster. More than 200 superstars. Star-studded lineup featuring the likes of legend Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, Andre the Giant, alongside current superstars including the American Nightmare, Bianca Belair, John Cena, Rhea Ripley, and Roman Reigns, whose larger-than-life entrances and signature moves are heightened by ultra-realistic graphics and have all been revamped for this year's title. New match types and improvements on existing match types. Players asked, and now 2K delivers. With 4 new chaotic match types, special guest referee, ambulance match, casket match, and gauntlet match. In addition, the backstage brawl now features 4-player support and new interactive environmental elements, including a working elevator, breakable control room glass, and a vending machine with throwable soda. Oh, that's going to be fun. Throw a soda. While the Royal Rumble now offers support for 8 online players, 30 superstar online matches. All of the familiar 2K match types such as War Games, Extreme Rules, TLC, Submission, Hell in a Cell, and many, many more also return. More details on all new match types will be shared soon. Gameplay upgrades. 2K24 features improvements to gameplay throughout, including super finishes, the trading blows minigame, top rope dive onto a group of opponents outside the ring, double title matches, new paybacks, and much more. New weapon types, including trash cans, guitars, microphones, plus the ability to throw weapons, allow players to bring the pain. Also, 7 real WWE referees are featured to add to the immersive experience. Yes, you heard that right. They're legitimately not just going to have a basic looking referee in there. They're having 7 real WWE referees scanned into this game.
Well, you know, the one they got to have in there is the one who's been there for 20 plus years.
Little Nate.
You know,
little Nate.
Little Nate.
My GM, so the popular WWE brand management simulation continues to expand with new GMs and brands to choose from, more match types, more dramas, more championships, talent scouts, superstar trading between brands, superstar contract management, and the new superstar journey, which allows superstars to earn XP, train, and level up to gain new benefits after participating in matches. Of course, My Faction, the team building mode in which players collect, manage, and upgrade an array of superstars and legends to create their ultimate 4-person factions, returns with a new direct purchase card market and updated multiplayer experience. Players can now compete in ranked online quick play with unique rewards and seasonal leaderboards, challenges themselves with weekly towers, and take on a revamped Factions Wars 2, featuring more real-world factions, more 4v4 match types, a Faction Wars specific reward shop, and more. New themed card packs and goals will continue to roll out regularly throughout the year with seasonal content refreshes. My Rise returns in 2K's unique career mode experience. 2 new storylines, Undisputed Men's and Unleashed Women's, put players in control of custom-created superstars looking to make a name for themselves and cement their legacies in WWE history, featuring the likes of Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Mick Foley, and others, performing My Rise voiceover for the first time alongside other superstars and legends, expanded rewards, original My Rise characters, and unlockables carrying over into other game modes and new environments. My Rise is more impactful on the overall 2K experience than ever seen before. Universe mode, the ultimate universe sandbox that puts players in charge of superstar rosters, feuds, champions, weekly shows, and premium live events now features expanded rivalry actions, including run-ins, Money in the Bank cash-ins, scenarios and brawls, as well as new cutscenes, special guest referee support, double title matches, and a loser leaves town stipulation. Then the creation suite, so the crown jewel, as we always are well aware of the 2K franchise, the best in class, most detailed and robust creation suite returns with all new support for create a referee and create a sign, as well as new parts and animations to design custom superstars, GMs, arenas, entrances, move sets, championships, and more. Woo! There's a lot there to unpack, brother. What is your thoughts on everything that was just bomb dropped yesterday on us all?
I gotta say, it sounds great to me. It always sounds great to me, but their control scheme is difficult for me, and they have lacked some accessibility features that because I wanna like these WWE games. I want to play these WWE games, but a lot of times I'm limited by what my hands can and can't do.
Right. That's understandable. Totally understandable.
But I mean, this one, I might even, I actually may go physical with this just to get the cover with Cody. That way, if I ever meet him, I can. That way, if I ever meet him, I can get him to autograph my cover.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, no questions about that, bro. Like that's the beauty of a physical like this. But you know what? I even think, I mean, I won't obviously have physical because I always go digital. But for anybody that's still physical, I even think even though it's the most expensive version, the 40-year anniversary of WrestleMania version, that cover looks freaking like, man, it looks wild. It looks wild because you have, let me just get here that I can see it in front of me.
I haven't even seen it. I've been looking for it. I haven't seen that cover. I've seen Cody's and I've seen the ladies, but I haven't seen the 40-year one.
I'm going to see. Let me see if I can. Hang on. Let me see if I share screen. Here we go.
While you're doing that, let me say hello to Farrell. Welcome to the chat. He was with us the other night in here as well. After not seen him for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He's back with us.
Okay, so let me just see. Hang on a second. Yeah. Okay, Windows capture. Here we go. So we're going to disappear for a minute, folks. There we go. So if you can see on screen, if you've got your little YouTube up yourself, Paul, there you go. There is the 40-year cover there. So you've got.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. It looks really cool. I even love the old WrestleMania logo. You got Brock, you got Taker, you got The Rock, you got the Hitman there, you got Andre, Austin, Hulk, obviously Mr. Missing in Action's front and center down below. Triple H is there, Becky Lynch is there, Bianca. Man, it's a wild cover, man. I think.
See, personally, if it was me, I would have put. I know you don't like him, but because it wasn't until WrestleMania 3 that it really hit when Hulk beat Andre. I would have put Hogan down center because of that match that WrestleMania got as big as it did.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Because I remember 1 and 2, but 3 is where it really broke out. 3 is seriously where WrestleMania really got their shit together. I mean,
yeah, you're not wrong. And man, like, I'm telling you now, like that cover was fire.
Yeah.
Not sure Michaels was on there too, as well as Charlotte Flair. And John Cena. I miss John Cena there. He's just in between Taker and Brock. But man, that's a pretty neat cover. Although I would have probably found some way of having the Macho Man Randy Savage on there as well.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of them. I mean, there's too many of them that should have been on that cover. Way too many.
You know who I would have. I'll tell you what. I would have really killed over and died if Owen Hart had been on. That would have been like, oh my god, they worked out a deal. I'll be like, damn. But man, like this, as I said, with everything that they dropped yesterday, I know, as I said, they've usually used, this is going to be the best wrestling game ever, and this is going to have the biggest rest ever. I literally think this time around they legitimately are going to give us the best wrestling game ever and definitely the biggest roster. Because
By the way, not a paid ad, but available pre-order. Ships March 8th. Drops
yes,
March 8th.
yeah,
So
not far away at all, man. Like
no,
it's what are we in? Basically, we got one more.
they've got one more week in January, and then it's February.
Yeah,
So
3 weeks of February, and then I think it drops the. Let me have a look here.
well,
The
4 weeks in
week.
February. So it drops in about
Yeah,
6
5
weeks
weeks.
or so.
Yeah, 5 6
5 or
weeks.
6
Yeah,
weeks. Yeah.
just before WrestleMania, I believe. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a big advert for it at
No, we're
Royal
gonna
Rumble.
get buried in hats for it this week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
we're
Royal
gonna...
Rumble for sure and
Yeah.
for certain. But look, no, like legitimately, I think this could be the biggest game and the best wrestling game that anybody's put out there in a long time. I definitely think it's going to be the biggest. I mean, over 200.
By the way, just to be
superstars.
clear, in case
Wow.
anybody's watching from the other company, not to downplay the game that we're watching on the screen right now. You guys did an amazing job.
Yes, they did,
Yeah.
and they're going to continue to add to that because they're treating that like a live service, so you're not going to get a game with that. But
Right.
yeah, over 200 plus wrestlers and legends, like that's unheard
Yeah.
of. That size, like pretty much like you think of a wrestler in your head, they're probably likely going to be in the game.
There are, even
One
if they were to do,
person I'm
and
curious
I will
about.
say some of the historical matches will not be in there because of the wrestlers that are in those matches. But
One wrestler I'm curious about. He'll be in the game. It's to what fashion? I'm interested. It's because of how late, obviously, he debuted. Will Punk be a part of the already roster that's there, or is he going to be a part of the first lot of DLC?
yeah,
That's going to be my
it'd be interesting because he was there before. So
yeah, they'd have a previous model that they could
Yeah.
easily get that model and update it because it's not a
Right.
heck of a lot that we'd have to do to update it.
No, and also he's actually been. It's been a while. It's been a couple of months now since he's been back. I mean, theoretically, they could already have his model good to go.
Yeah.
Even if they had to reshoot some stuff.
Yeah.
But the one I'm talking about that probably won't be there is, even though he was a big deal at those early WrestleManias, Chris Benoit, because he was a big part of those shows. He was a big part of those shows.
He won't be in there. Same with
No.
anything Owen Hart related to. But
Right.
anything else? I already know.
Yeah.
I already know. You are getting 70s version of Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you are getting every single version known to man of Cody Rhodes. So you're getting his current look, you're getting his legacy look, you are getting dashing Cody Rhodes, you are getting the Cody Rhodes where he went all evil with the mask, face mask, and you're getting Stardust.
How about when he was the pretty boy? What's it? Yeah.
Dashing Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
You're getting that as well. But you're getting the character he played after that, where something happened to his face. He came out in the mask.
Yeah.
And then you're getting Stardust.
Well, like I said, I watching those old shows, and he was a heel. Yeah, he had dark hair, and he was a heel for a while.
Barry, you're getting Barry Windham is going to be a part of that too, because he's got a big part in Cody's life with his dad. That's been mentioned. That's like part of the Cody pack, I think they call it, or something along those lines. It's a. Hang on a second.
So I'm hoping Dusty's in there too, because that'd be cool.
Dusty is. the 70s version of Dusty Rhodes.
Because then you could have Dusty, Cody, and Dustin all in there. Yeah.
Now Dustin, I'm not sure will be in there. Obviously because he's with
Stardust. What about Star? Well, no. What about
Stardust? Is being mentioned? Yeah.
So that version will be in there. So theoretically, you could have all three generations of Rhodes in there, or both generations of Rhodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cowboy Bob with his son. Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, it's looking the goods. It really is.
Yeah.
It's really looking the goods at the moment.
Like I said, I love the roster. I love the idea. I even like the way they do the the My Story thing. It's just some of the controls are hard for me to deal with. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's understandable. So hopefully they might do something that can make it a bit more accessible in that
Yeah.
regard. That would be nice. I mean, they're a big enough bloody,
Yeah.
company to be able
Because
to
I
do
think
that.
I think it may have been this last year that I actually purchased it, and after playing it for less than 2 hours, I went, no, I can't do this, and got a refund because I was like, not worth it for me because I'm not enjoying this. This is
Right, right. Um, yeah, I mean, it's they hopefully they fix that because, as I said, they're a big enough company to do something
yeah.
for
Well,
more
hopefully they took
accessibility.
some cue. I hate to say this. Hopefully 2K took some cues from what AEW did. I went,
Right.
oh look, they went back and they simplified things. And the AEW game is far from perfect too. I hate trying to do the ladder matches. They're a pain in the butt. They're and they lean a lot on the ladder matches in that AEW game. You know.
Yeah, no, they
um,
do.
yeah.
It's called. That's what it's called. The Nightmare Pack. That's what Cody's is going to be called. So it'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see what other variation. But as I said, someone asked that. Oh, is Dustin going to be in his gold dust? I said, nah, AEW won't allow.
Yeah.
That's the only freaking sucky thing. Yeah, so you'll get Dusty Rhodes is definitely going to be in there. Undashing Cody Rhodes, Billy Graham, superstar Billy Graham. Uh, that's all part of the Nightmare family. Stardust as well. So yeah, I mean you're getting variations
Yeah,
again,
I
which
can't. I
makes
can't wait
sense.
to see the full roster. I can't wait to see the full roster.
Oh
That'll be
man, like
interesting.
as I said, that they're gonna have everybody they can possibly squeeze in. Um,
Yeah.
there will be a big tribute to Bray Wyatt in the game as well. Makes a lot of sense since we lost him. So he'll definitely be there. He'll be classified as one of the legends. Man,
By the way, here's a little heads up. By the way, for those that go digital, pre-order digital of WWE 2K24 will include a digital copy of 2K23 Standard Edition for the same platform.
yeah.
So
So I mean that's
so,
good. That's good for anybody who hasn't got the game. I seen that too. I'm like,
right.
well, why would you want that if you're getting the new game? That's
Well,
all I thought. I was like, why would you want that if you're getting the new game?
some people do because I mean, it
Yeah.
just completionist type of thing.
And collectors of the games,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's neat, man. But they, as I said, they did a really big, as I said, drop of info on that. I'm sure more and more is going to come out. Obviously, people love to see the roster reveals and stuff as they put the entrance out.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see updated
Well, like,
entrances.
will Sting be there? Will Sting be in it?
No,
Somebody posted an
no.
interesting question because
Yeah,
I mean
no.
WWE was a big part of
Well,
his thing,
no, because he's under contract with AEW, so that won't.
right? But I think it may depend on who actually owns the character. You know,
Um. Well, right now, I think he himself. I think Steve Borden actually owns the rights to. Hence why he's been able to use Sting from WCW to WWE to
right?
TNA to now AEW. But whilst he's still under contract with AEW, yeah, I wouldn't expect Sting. That's just my
Right,
opinion.
but if he's about to have his last match, he could show up at the DLC later down the road.
That he could, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put that out of question.
yeah,
But he won't be in there straight away because he's
under contract.
Yeah. So that stops him from, and so his last match isn't until March, whenever
Yeah,
that pay-per-view is for them. So
right. But that'll be that. Like I said, that means he could drop in the first major DLC.
yeah. I mean, they would still have his. Again, he's another one. They'd still have his model. They
Yep.
could use him and use that model again. So no, without question, they could add him later if they so desire. I mean,
I don't see why they wouldn't if the opportunity arises, because that's just
well, they own,
Mhm.
as we're well aware, we know he had the longest and probably the best part of his career was in WCW. He was
Right.
WCW's main man, and WWE owns all that history and
Yep.
all that footage, all their tape library. So,
Yep.
yeah, it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. I mean, who knows? He might have separate deal for when it comes to video games. So
Yeah.
maybe he is in there as a legend. Yeah, we just don't know. I don't know, but because his contract's pretty much almost up anyway. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they might have
Yep.
plans, but no, man, that looks really really good. And I can't
It
wait
does. I mean,
to
yeah.
see more of the roster and see. Apparently NXT finally. I mean they've had a presence each and every year, but they're really going to have a much bigger prep, which makes sense to me. I mean you're going to have more than 200 superstars. You got to really flesh out and you know, add as many wrestlers in there as you possibly can. So I think you're going to get an abundance of legends as well. So
Right.
I expect to see all the usual suspects from Bret Hart, Yokozuna,
Which is good, because some
Hogan.
previous versions have been notably lacking some of the legends, and you're kind
Yeah,
of going,
yeah.
but those are the guys I want to play with.
Yeah,
Those are guys
yeah,
I want.
exactly. I mean, you know, Andre, Austin Rock,
Yeah.
all of them are going to be there. Taker, Kurt Angle, obviously. Yeah,
Piper in his eye poke, baby. Got to have Piper in his eye poke.
yeah, Piper should be in there. Possibly Jimmy Snooker. Yeah, man, you got some really good. I mean, Dusty's already been confirmed as well. Superstar
Yep.
Billy Graham. You know, I don't know. Again, he might be someone who has a separate video game deal. So maybe Ric Flair, maybe.
If Ric Flair sees a way to make money out of it, he'll be there.
Yeah, he might be one of these that have a separate deal that it doesn't matter if he's in another company, he could still have his likeness in something else. And it's not like
because to me, if they own the rights to the character, then really there's nothing stopping them unless it's in their contract.
And it's not like he's a wrestler in AEW. He's just there for Sting, really. I mean, as far as I'm aware, from all accounts, the minute Sting retires, Flair's out of there. The interesting one for me, well, we know that will they have Edge in the game? That would be funny. They own the rights to the name, we're well aware, and that character, so there's nothing really stopping them.
No, and I think those agreements may have been decided before Edge even left.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, but that'd be funny. That'd have to really piss Tony off because he hasn't got Adam Copeland in the AEW game yet.
Right.
Which I'm surprised he hasn't got onto that and got him in the game by now, but they're really going slow goings over there with adding bloody people in.
Yep. With legends, I'd like to see guys that I don't think we've ever seen in the game, like Jesse the Body Ventura, and even Gorilla Monsoon. All those guys were wrestlers before they were table guys, but by the time wrestling got big, they were toward the end of their careers.
Yeah.
If not already sitting at the table,
All right. Yeah, well, that's true too. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys, man. As I said, I think you're going to see probably one of the biggest legends rosters in a video game with this game. Like, as I said, they really got to flesh out this roster. Over 200. I don't know. I mean, I know they got a lot
if they're looking at 40 years of WrestleMania, they've got a lot to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you're having over 200 superstar, I mean, there's not even 200 superstars in WWE across all three brands, so you definitely know you're going to get abundance of legends.
Well, and what's funny is that when you're watching the old matches and you go, who? I mean, these are people that got the spotlight back in like 1997, and you're like, whatever happened to this guy?
What happened to this bastard? But like, I'm trying to think who else. Back in the day, I'd love to see Um, the Macho King version, a Macho Man.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that would be cool. However, there's been it's funny, they hinted too. Well, it was John Cena.
Oh,
John
uh,
Cena put out a tweet to do with WWE 2K with an NWO shirt.
yeah.
Mm.
So will we see some NWO? I mean, I kind of hope so. It'd be nice, you know.
Well, that, and you'll probably see John Cena in an NWO shirt too.
Yeah.
Because when he had that, if you remember, when he had that very cinematic match, I guess you could call it, with Bray Wyatt,
Right.
in one of the spots, it went black and white, and he's in an NWO. He was wrestling in an
Yeah.
NWO shirt.
Yep.
So,
And I'm also hoping, it'd be nice to see Razor Ramon in the game.
oh, yeah, that's a must. That's a must.
Rip Razor, everybody's talking about Bray Wyatt, but we also lost Razor Ramon this last year. So
Yeah, yeah, we did. 1-2-3 Kid would be cool too.
Yeah.
$1 Million Man, I dare say, will definitely be in there.
Yeah. And Virgil, of course. Gotta have Virgil.
Yeah. Who else is there? Coco Beware would be a nice addition.
Yep. My favorite announcer from NXT should be in there.
No, okay, now if they're going to do 40 years WrestleMania, they have to have Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Gorilla's got to be in there. Yeah.
Now they'll have King. But will they be able to put JR in, considering he's under contract?
Yeah.
With AEW, unfortunately. They got to have Bobby the Brain Heenan as a manager.
Yep. And of course, that would be also bring you Jimmy Hart, the mouth of the South.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have an early Hulk Hogan in there, you got to have Jimmy Hart.
Yep.
I think NWO Hogan will be in there too, but if you're going to have old
of course,
Hogan.
The Hart Foundation,
well, you could do that without Owen.
Yeah, without, that's what I'm saying. There was a time that there was Owen wasn't in there.
No, it was
but
just,
it was Neidhart and Brett and John Neidhart.
And wasn't it also British Bulldog as well?
Not that I recall. I just remember mostly Neidhart and Brett as
they were a tag
and then
team,
Jimmy was the that was the tag team.
Yeah.
Because the British Bulldogs were a tag team in and of themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Davey Boy and
yeah.
Far out. What was the other something Kid?
Yeah.
Dynamite Kid,
yeah.
Ultimate Warriors obviously will be in there.
He better be. He should be.
Yeah, he should be. Kevin Nash will probably be in there. I don't know if he'll be in there as Nash. Or he might be in there as Nash and Diesel.
I was going to say Diesel is when he really broke out before he became, under his own name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kane obviously should be there, and that's without a doubt.
Kane is always one of those guys that when they said, "Yeah, you're a great wrestler, but man, you ugly. We're gonna put you in a mask, dude."
Do you remember
you can never be a face. I'm sorry, no, ever.
Do you remember before he became Kane, and he was that weird dentist? He was called Isaac Yankem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not a good looking man. Okay, I'm sorry.
Poor bastard. He got he hit every he hit every branch of the ugly tree on the way down.
I remember because then he did a B horror movie where he was the killer, and we're like, yeah, that fits.
Oh yeah, they did a second one to it too. Is it See No Evil and See No Evil 2? I think that's
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, he kind of fits that role, but yeah, man, like, I'd love to see. It's been a minute since you had Jesse the Body Ventura in a video game. I think the last time he was in a game was those. Remember those Legends of Wrestling video games?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last time I'm pretty sure Jesse the Body Ventura was in a video game. Um, I
I'm
know this
hoping.
is a lesser known guy, but
I'm.
this is how far back I can remember. Rick Martel, like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that
Um.
gotta be in there.
Also, as I'm watching Dominic here, getting some of the now forgotten luchadors in there because they had some wild matches back in.
Yeah, Ultimo Dragon Man would be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
he'd be a big one. He's one of the ones I watched some of the matches last week or this weekend. And yeah,
who,
he was quick. That he was
yeah,
really
man,
quick.
he had some good matches with Ray too back in the day.
Yeah,
Then you had Psychosis, Juventud
right.
Guerrera.
Yeah.
Obviously, clearly, Eddie Guerrero will be a definite.
Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll definitely be in there.
And
I would
Chavo and
love. Pretty sure he did at some point, even if it was just coming in and doing a match here and there. But he's so big of a superstar. I don't think he ever wrestled a match at WrestleMania, but like you still got to fill out a Legends roster regardless. Jushin Thunder Liger.
ah,
That would be cool to see. Antonio Inoki. That would be cool to see.
right.
Um, who else have you got? Oh, that would be cool. The Wild Samoans. So you'd have
Yeah.
Roman Reigns' dad and Rikishi.
Yeah.
Was it him and
Rikishi.
Yeah.
You need to get some of those guys in there, of course. Yeah. My only fear is that a lot of these guys are going to be locked behind paywalls, and the way they're going to do it is probably in sets, and in each set there's going to be one guy that everybody wants to have. The only way you're going to get him is if you pony up.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Either that or, like you mentioned, you'd have to do a bunch of things to unlock them.
Or if they're going to do the card thing like they do in the football games and stuff. Where
Yeah,
you could buy a pack and hopefully get. So we'll see how they handle that.
I'm glad that they're bringing back a special referee, man. I used to love
Yeah.
those matches back in the day.
Yep.
And an ambulance match. I'm hoping with the, you know what? They
What about the
need.
coffin match? Remember when they did with the coffin match with Undertaker and Yakuza? That
Yeah.
was wild. That was
But you know what I'd love to see him bring back the proper style buried alive match. You know when they used to, like in the Attitude Era, they used to have the mounds of freaking dirt that's up
Yeah.
the top of the rampway, and they'd have to
Yeah.
drag him from the ring right up there and then bury him.
Yeah.
That
Speaking
would be
of,
cool.
so if they're are they going to bring Taker in, and if they're are we going to get the Undead Taker or and then will we get Paul Bearer? You know,
Well, I've seen two versions that have popped up in pictures that they've released. You've got both Undead Taker, but one's also Ministry of Darkness Taker when he was
Yeah.
a heel. And Vince came out as the higher power.
Yeah.
That was so funny though. It was me, Austin. It was me the whole time.
Yeah.
But I think that's when Linda then comes out and goes, "Hey Vince, Stone Cold's now the
Yeah.
CEO or whatever."
Yeah. Yeah. Are we gonna get wrestling Vince McMahon? Are we gonna get wrestling Shane McMahon? Are we gonna?
Oh, Vince has to be there for sure at least.
Yeah.
And I think Shane should be there.
Shane O'Mac. Yeah, Shane O'Mac.
The whole lot of them, actually, excluding obviously Linda, should be in it.
Yeah.
Even Stephanie would probably be a playable character.
Right.
Actually, we've run through some. Hopefully, they got like Fabulous Moolah in there. Wendy Richter would be cool.
Yeah.
Jacqueline would be cool. Sherry Martel. That would be cool.
There's a lot of old time wrestlers that most people don't even remember anymore that should be in there.
Yeah, man, that would be I know they'll have like legends like Trish and stuff in there, but I want to go further back. I want to go back to
Right.
The 80s when it was known as the Rock and Wrestling, because you had the crossover with
Yep.
You know, the rock and pop scene with Wendy Richter constantly coming out with Cyndi Lauper and
That would be cool if they got Cyndi Lauper in there, even if it's just as a manager, you know.
oh, if you're gonna have
And
Wendy Richter, you're gonna have Cyndi Lauper coming out with her.
and Captain Lou, baby, gotta have Captain Lou.
Yeah, Captain Lou Albano, man, he was freaking, he was just crazy.
Yep.
But man, you had so many good teams. The LOD, or better known as the Road Warriors, Demolition Man. They got to be in there. Yeah, man, you got some
IRS.
well, if you got Ted DiBiase, yeah, you got to have
Gotta have
you got to have
IRS.
Bray Wyatt's daddy. Man, that was funny. Man, those two him and his dad played characters really at the opposite end of the spectrum, didn't they? You had his dad playing IRS, like as in he's someone that works for the IRS, you know, and working alongside the rich mogul in $1 Million Man. Then you had the son comes later on, and he's playing like a horror character.
Yep. Are we gonna get Dink and Doink? Are we gonna get?
Yeah, well, at least Doink the Clown definitely has got to be in there. But you know who should be in there? I know he was a jobber all the time, but the Brooklyn Brawler's got.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Brawler's got to be, and he played Doink at one point in time too.
Yeah.
Steve Lombardi here played it. Yeah, I was like, you know what? He's got to be in there. Man, yeah.
There was one guy whose match I saw, and I looked him up. His last name was Reigns too. His character in ring. It wasn't, you know, he was a white guy. I forget his first name.
Luther Reigns.
Luther Reigns.
Yeah.
I looked up his record. You know, his whole time in WWE, he never won a match.
Nope.
He was one of those guys he always lost every single time.
And then Roman's brother was Rosie, a part of 3-minute warning.
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff had come out and go, "You got 3-minute warning," and then two big boys had come from the crowd. The Hurricane's probably going to show up in the game. Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you got some. As I said, over 200 wrestlers, superstars of today and yesteryear. Man, you're going to have a hell of a roster. You're going to have a hell of a roster, man. We're just listing off the legends right now. I mean,
and those are the ones that we can remember. They're going to be named to show up, that both of us are going to be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about him."
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to go, okay, put it this way. If they're going right back to 70s and 60s, there might be names that, yeah, like you said, like once you see it, you'd be like, "Oh, damn," you know. That would have been back in my daddy's era, you know, like, it's like, wow, okay, here we go. Especially because they already said they got 1973 or 1974 version of Dusty Rhodes, so very young Dusty Rhodes.
Right. And that means we could get Orton's grandfather, who was also a wrestler. Yeah, Orton is actually a third-generation wrestler.
Yeah. I mean, Cowboy Bob's definitely got to be in there. You can't not have Cowboy Bob, and he better have the cast on his arm. You probably even get Bruno Sammartino.
Bruno Sammartino, which you should. I mean, if they're going to go that far back, he held the record forever. You know, he held.
If he's in it, I'd be bloody using him to beat the crap out of Roman Reigns and like, not today, Drew. You ain't beat my record.
Yeah, that's right.
But then, like, it's going to be epic. As I said, I just hope for, well, your sake and other people in that situation that they have, better accessibility for it. Because they really need to, as I said, especially for them. Like, you could give, like little Ukes and THQ a little bit of an excuse with AEW.
Oh, I'll tell you what. If I can't play the game, they are going to get message from me every damn day on Twitter.
Until they freaking do. Yeah, because, I mean, it's 2K, man. Like, they're so big. Like, there's no excuse for them. Like, you can kind of give a bit of an excuse to the company behind AEW's game, which is THQ, because they're much smaller.
Right.
But 2K, like, none of those big developers like of that size should have any excuse when it comes to accessibility.
Well, and even THQ, and given their pedigree of doing the earlier wrestling games that were very playable, you know, those are the ones that I remember playing on this,
Yeah.
the N64 and stuff like
If
that.
you want
You know,
everybody playing this that can possibly play it, you need to make it as accessible as you possibly can.
yep,
So everybody can play it because you got a lot. This is the thing with the wrestling fan base. Very, it's very expansive, and
yeah,
you look in the crowd, man. Like I mean, especially with WWE's work and Make a Wish. So you got people that are wrestling fans that missing limbs that are got mental
yeah,
issues. Like all sorts of all walks of life. Is a wrestling fan, and so that's why the game should be as accessible as possible. You know what I mean?
absolutely, yep,
I mean, you take our buddy. I don't know if he's a wrestling fan, but I'm just using him as to bring it up. Our buddy Jay, Graphic God, who plays with one
right,
hand. Well, obviously, you're going to make it accessible enough for the man to be able to play with one hand.
yep.
So, yeah, I
And
mean,
and Jay can play things with one hand that I can't play with two. That's
yeah, man,
but
yeah, he is a marvel. We see him each and every week when he just game on a retro renting, and those of us that know him know that he's only playing with one hand. It's like, good God, man, like you're playing better than people with two hands. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but still, that's what I'm talking about. You gotta cater to that. You gotta understand that. As I said, wrestling fans and gamers as well. They're from all walks of life, man. So a lot of these companies, as I said, you can kind of give smaller companies a little bit of a pass. They might not have the funds or the tech or whatever to sometimes get it done. But these bigger companies have got no excuse. No excuse at all. And so, hopefully, man, you can play it because I know if you can play it, you're going to love it because this is going to be something else.
though I will never play anybody online because I'll get my ass kicked. So that's just the way that works.
No, but at least, like you said, you'll be able to pick it up and enjoy it yourself and do everything fine and, enjoy being a wrestling fan playing, as I said, very, very arguably the biggest bloody game that's going to be put out there when it comes to roster, match types, and everything else in between that you're going to be able to do with this, Dan. I mean, I know for a fact that one big portion of it that you would enjoy the heck out of is playing through the 40 years of WrestleMania moments. Like that's a lot of moments.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of moments in 40 freaking years, man.
Yep.
Especially when you're starting all the way back at WrestleMania 1.
Yep, and the Hogan match is going to be in there. The Hogan Giant match is going to be in there.
I hope
the Ultimate Warrior Hogan match will definitely be in there.
And I hope, like they've done in previous games, like even they did it last year with John Cena, they give you the option where you can, because it's a video game, like you can rewrite history, so you can be Andre, and make sure Hogan doesn't body slam you and get his moment kind of thing, or you could do it the other way around, just relive the moment of Hogan picking him up and body slamming. Like, you could relive the moment where instead of having Brock beat the street, Undertaker kick his ass.
Yeah.
So, that'll be cool and make it more interesting in that regard. Obviously, as I said, Cody's story is going to be a big part of that as well, because I've seen in the little trailer video, you're going to relive his WrestleMania downfall last year. I wish it wasn't a downfall, but it was. He came up short. And it's funny. He, I know it's not got anything to do with the game, but he actually had some choice words for The Rock, because The Rock's in his way of finishing the story. I thought that was kind of funny, because he wasn't too. Like, he's got nothing but praise for The Rock and what The Rock's done, and even what The Rock's achieved going from wrestling to that. But this is what happen. This is what can happen when these part timers come in, and it really unsettles some of the talent that's there each and every week.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, because it pulls the spotlight.
And here's a funny thing. I wonder if it'll play out tonight because. I know you're watching Raw. I'm guessing Cody and CM Punk haven't had their moment in the ring yet.
They have not yet. No, I'm
Okay.
thinking they're saving that till the end or close to.
Well, it'll
So
be interesting to see what theme music Cody comes out to, because he was caught using CM Punk's old "This Fire Still Burns" WWE theme before Raw went live.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
that would be funny if he comes out to that. Um, it's sort of like when
I like
AEW.
even though he's not a heel, I like this take no prisoners Cody that we've been getting the last few months.
Yeah,
That
yeah. And so
that
I
he's
think they're
yeah.
obviously having this moment. This to me signals to me that this could probably be part of that plan B or plan C if Seth's not ready to go. That's why they're doing this whole Cody Punk thing, because as we're well aware, it's been rumored for a while and it looked like it was going to be Punk versus Seth at WrestleMania. If that can't happen, then the next best turn of fate is CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. So I
Yeah.
think that's another reason why they're doing what they're doing. Because even if Seth goes ahead, at least you're still going to be building that feud too, because that's been another talked about feud for Punk is him and Cody. So obviously starting it now is probably beneficial, just in the off chance that hey, we can we can steer the ship here from Punk and Seth to Punk and Cody
Right.
if we need to. Probably before they wanted to do it, but that you got one of your top guys and you're unsure because of injury if they're going to be around or make it or not, then yeah, you got to have that plan B or C. But yeah, keep looking out the coming weeks. Look ahead at the Royal Rumble for more information, probably more footage dropped. But so far, everything sounds really, really good. Got me excited. I've already pre-ordered the 40-year anniversary edition, so I'm definitely getting the top edition. That covers everything anyway. You get all the packs, you get all the season pass, everything like that. So I thought, why not? It's probably definitely well worth it. In years past, I've just got the standard edition, but with what they're cramming into this year's edition, I was like, you know what, it's probably worth it. And I know they're not adding it straight away because they can't. But they've already said the WrestleMania 40 arena will be coming to the game.
Right.
So they're obviously waiting for the show of shows to be on, so they can then model the arena and everything like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's looking good, bro. It's looking good. I'm excited. But moving, of course, into our last topic, which is another big topic, as I said, and I left this one till the last. Another good topic to end the night on. Royal Rumble preview and predictions. This is apart from WrestleMania, this is one of my favourite pay-per-views each and every year. As I said, it's because of the unpredictability of the Royal Rumble, especially the matchups themselves. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, you tend to get some surprises. In years past, there's been a few surprises. Other years, there's been one or two surprises. But either way, you generally get some surprises. Another name I haven't mentioned. We know he's a free agent. We also know his wife is in WWE. Wouldn't shock me to see Andrade turn up at the Royal Rumble. There was rumours that he was going to turn up at the Raw, the first Raw of 2024, but it didn't end up coming to fruition. But he is a free agent. And I know he was in talks with WWE, so maybe he shows up in the Royal Rumble. So, as I said, I think we're in this year for probably a lot more surprises than we've had in the last few years when it comes to both women's and men's Rumble match. But so far we're building a nice card. Obviously we've clearly got 4 huge matches officially announced so far. Obviously, there'll probably be another, I'd say 1 or 2 matches, I'd say, to make it maybe 6, because we know both the Rumble matches will be long matches anyway, and we also know that regardless of, we pretty much know the outcome, the Fatal 4-Way match with Roman and that will probably be a lengthy match too. So maybe I'll go ahead and say maybe one more match gets added. Maybe Rhea defends her belt at the pay per view, even though that'll, she'll probably win. But yeah, maybe it's a 5-match card, or maybe they'll just stick with this 4-match card and they think they've got enough to cover the 3 hours, which they probably will, because as I said, like, I expect the men's and women's matches to go close to, well, the women's match go close to an hour, the men's match might go over an hour, so there'd be like 2 hours right there. I dare say the Fatal 4-Way match itself would at least get 20 minutes to half an hour, so there's 2.5 hours. Logan Paul and Kevin Owens might even get 15. So maybe that card set at what we got. So you got, obviously, right, Logan Paul and Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. My prediction for this is, I think it might not be the what everybody thinks, but I think Logan Paul actually retains. I
hope not. Good God, I hope not.
No, I think he will, because I think that he will have a big match at WrestleMania, and it's at WrestleMania that he will lose the championship. Maybe Kevin Owens gets a rematch at WrestleMania. I don't know, but I don't know. I just got a feeling WWE is going to keep the belt on him until WrestleMania, and then he'll lose it at WrestleMania. But what's your prediction on that match? You think he will retain, or do you think Kevin Owens is going to take the United States Championship?
Let's just say I want Kevin Owens to clean his clock. I want him to wipe that smirk off his face. Now, if you're right, if he is going to actually become a full-time wrestler, and, then yeah, let him hold it till WrestleMania, but,
Well, look, I think I don't know about that part, even though that's my wish. As I said on another pod, whether you hate him or you like him, the one thing that everybody can agree on, I think wrestling is perfect for him. I really do. He can talk on that microphone. He's cocky. He's brash. And he surprised the hell out of everybody. He can really wrestle in that ring. I believe he should be doing that over YouTube. I believe he should be doing it over boxing. That is, like, he was born to do it. You can see he was born to do it. And I really do wish he would take it on full time. I don't think he will. But in my opinion, he's just made for it. And, from all accounts that I've heard, he does respect the business. That's why a lot of people, a lot of those superstars got time for him. And if there was something else to call him more than just a part-timer, because he does show up a lot more than any of the part-timers, more than John Cena or a Rock or a Brock or anybody. I mean, Christ, he shows up more than Roman Reigns.
Well, and even when he doesn't actually wrestle, he still seems to be there. So,
Exactly. So, I still think he could go full-time and still do his YouTube thing. I mean, plenty of wrestlers do podcasts and they're full-time, you know what I mean? So, I think he could go full-time. I just think he needs to give up boxing. Leave boxing to his brother Jake, who's actually better at it. I know Logan's pretty good himself, but Jake Paul is the better boxer. And, his brother can take over the boxing world, and he can take over the wrestling world, and because I truly do think he's a better wrestler and he's a better entertainer in the wrestling world than he is a boxer. So look, I think that he retains. I think they have him keep that belt for WrestleMania, because you're going to need a few belt changes at WrestleMania, considering if they don't shock us with Roman and him dropping the belt here, we know he's not dropping the belt to The Rock. As much as people would love to see him drop the belt to The Rock, even if The Rock's only going to hold it a month, probably likely not going to happen, because as we're all well aware, as they've alluded to many times, they seem to still want him to beat Hogan's record. So if his belt ain't going to change hands at WrestleMania, you're going to need some of the other belts to change hands, US Championship being one of them, because I really don't know when it comes to Gunther. I don't know if See, I wouldn't care if he didn't drop his title at WrestleMania and then kept him going on his own extraordinary path too, because at least he shows up, and at least he
Right.
wrestles, and um, right now that's second behind Seth's title as the most prestigious title in all of WWE, is that Intercontinental Championship, and that's thanks to his historic run. He is now the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion ever. And we know
Nice.
that the Honky Tonk Man held that record for quite some time. But he's beaten Honky Tonk's reigns. He's beaten Macho Man's reign. He's beaten some big name people that have held that title's, reign. Um,
Right.
and so I'm cool with him holding it for as long as they want to hold it, because I'm not bored of seeing him as the Intercontinental Champion, to be quite honest.
Right.
I actually like him. I don't like the long intro with what's his name doing his intro, but that's just an intro. As for, he doesn't need that other guy either. He can talk on a microphone.
Right.
He's quite good with a micro. I actually think he's getting more confidence and better every time he does actually talk. I remember a time where you would say that was probably his weak spot, was his mic skills. Wrestling was quite great, but he's gotten better and better and better, to a point that when they finally separate him from these other two jabronis, that he doesn't really need, he's a powerhouse as it is.
Right.
He's going to be fine. Like, as I said, when he first came in, I thought, okay, maybe teaming him with someone like Paul Heyman would be beneficial. But I don't even think he needs a Paul Heyman. He does fine on the mic. Definitely talks a lot better than Roman and Brock Lesnar. He's actually quite well spoken. And as I said, he seems to gain more and more confidence every time. And he shows more emotion. Like, I love that evil smirk that he does. And then he can have that real aggressive, serious face, like, I'm going to kill you kind of face.
Right.
Yeah, Gunter is actually quite entertaining.
I mean, yeah, but I haven't seen enough of him to see his personality outside of, because he does tend to get overshadowed by the slow talker and,
Yeah, exactly. But like when he does out, as I said, like he's getting the facial expressions and stuff. Where I mean, like, look at how he was with the Miz, like just kind of laughing at him. You think you could defeat me? Like,
Yeah.
like, what? Are you kidding me? You're a joke. Like, no, I mean, he has got a personality there, and you probably see more of that, solo. But,
Yeah.
he definitely come a long, long way from his NXT UK days, and man, I'm so proud of him. He's like one of my favorites. And as I said, I love this character of his, and I never want to see him as a babyface. He just works so damn well as a heel. His look as a heel, and yeah, I mean, man, I would, you know what? Like, I'd get behind him even as a heel if he's the one to bitch slap Roman Reigns around and end the streak, man. That would be fun. And that is another something that's being talked about outside Cody. Was I've heard plenty of rumors, and Meltzer and Alvarez have alluded to it several times over the last 12 months. That has actually been one of the discussions, of having the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion Gunther be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. That, to me, would be historic. As much as I want to see Cody finish a story, that would be really historic. Like, could you imagine, like, that type of accolade of you smashed every Intercontinental Championship where you're holding that for long, and now you've just dethroned, the longest, well, one of the longest reigning, besides Bruno, heavyweight champions. Like, there's a big, impactful sort of story there.
Yeah, if they ever talked about, if their rumor started ever, they want him to dethrone Bruno, I'd scream at the top of my, I'd be like, no, I'm out, I'm done.
No, if anyone was going, you know what? To be quite honest, if they were ever going to do that with someone, I would do it with Gunter. And you know why? Because when I look at Gunter, he's got very, very similar body type to Bruno Sammartino. And For me, he's like a modern day version of Bruno Sammartino, because Bruno Sammartino used to hit really hard,
Right.
like Gunter, and Gunter has that sort of old school style of
By the
wrestling
way,
like
to
that.
answer your question, Cody came out to his regular song.
Okay. Damn it! I wanted to see him come out. He's a Punk's old song, but no, like I wouldn't mind seeing it with Gunter, because Gunter, I mean, apart from being younger too, he'd be there for the whole run. So yeah, he'd have to
Right.
go on a run of what, 4 or 5 years, but he would be there day in, day out. He'd wrestle on
Right.
every
He'd
show.
actually show up. He'd
Yeah,
actually show
he'd
up.
wrestle on every show. Even it doesn't have to be that he's defending the title every time, but he'd wrestle on every show. And he'd probably be happy to wrestle a lot of singles matches again, even if it wasn't defending the belt itself. But yeah, as long as you're in the ring, man, I don't care. But he's someone that I could see doing it.
Yep.
They probably won't, but like, if, as I said, if they ever wanted to, that'd be who I would go with it, because to me he's just a modern day European version of Bruno, you know. So
Yep.
you know,
Sorry, I'm watching Cody come out, and I really appreciate the fact that he acknowledges the fans on the walkway and shakes their hands and stuff. And it's funny to watch old Cody.
Cena. He's the John Cena
when he
of this era.
didn't used to do that.
No.
And I'm betting it was hard for him to not do that even back then.
No, well, this is his natural personality come there. He's really just sort of like, you know, turning himself up to 100. He's just being his natural self. But Reigns defending
Cena during Cena's dark days was it's wild to go back and watch heel Cena. It really is.
Yeah.
It's really weird to watch heel Cena.
It's, obviously, clearly, you're the same boat as me. You're not really entertained with this fatal four-way match. We kind of know which direction they're going to go with this. Roman Reigns is going to come out and win. He's probably going to win because of Solo and Jimmy. Same old, same old.
Like I said, bring back the Elimination Chamber. Nobody in, nobody out. Screw you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heck, you know, even Hell.
Or like you said, what's his name comes out and says, if there's any interference on your behalf, you drop the belt.
Yeah, you're stripped.
Done.
Yep. As I said, I'm just sick of his matches ending the exact same.
Oh, all the time. You've been watching him longer than I have. Has he ever actually won a match without help since he's held the belt?
Okay, now that you've mentioned, I was going to say before this whole bloodline thing and that, yeah, he had. Obviously when he was a babyface, because they don't usually have a babyface win in that fashion. But I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm just going to say maybe once or twice in this whole reign he's won without their help. I'll just say that, because it's possibility that he has at least had 1 or 2 matches in this whole soon to be 4 years that he has won without help. But I will say 98% of the time. So 1% of the time he's won without them. 98% of the time. 2% of the time he's won without. 98% of the time, though, it's been because of Jay or Jimmy or Solo or Sammy when Sammy was there. Sometimes it's even been because of the bloody Judgment Day. That'd be the only saving grace for me. Look, he ends up winning in the same exact fashion, and then all of a sudden Judgment Day music hits, and out comes Damien. Damien's like, you know what? I've tried to go after Seth's title several times, and it's just been folded. I'm going to try this other title now. I mean, I'm going to go after Roman, and he cashes in, and he beats him because Judgment Day take out the others. That.
Heck, I'd be happy if he won without help. Seriously,
Well, look, yeah. If they're going to continue the way, he needs to win this without help. Then we know he's not being at elimination. Then he needs to beat The Rock without help. Especially because the whole thing around this is who's really the true head of the table. If you're going to be the head of the table, and this is, I know it's going to be just a normal match, or maybe there's a stipulation at it, but it's definitely not going to be a tribal match. But Rox says he's the head of the table. You say you're head of the table. You want to be the head of the table. You got to win this. You know,
Yep.
you'll obviously have Heyman out there, but there can't be any interference in this.
Yeah, what we've always said, make them win it right.
Yeah.
You know.
There can't be any interference in that match. I guarantee you there's still going to be interference. We're not going to get what we want.
Yeah.
But if I was WWE, you got your ear to the ground, surely hearing all of us fans getting sick of his matches ending the exact same way. Give us something different. As I said, I don't care if he comes into this fatal four-way match and he kicks every three of those competitors in the balls and then he pins one. I don't, because he's done it. You know what I mean? It's not Solo getting up and doing his thumb to their throat. It's not Jimmy getting up and kicking their head off. It's Roman just kicking them in the nuts. And then freaking Roman, even if he's pulling their, doing the whole pulling the tights, I don't care. Putting his feet on the ropes to get the extra lever, I don't care. As long as it's him doing it. As long as it's him. Come on, he is a big-ass Samoan. He's the head of the table. He doesn't need help every single freaking time. You know? But I guarantee he does in this because he's in a freaking fatal four-way. So of course the other two are going to be out there because he's going up against three competitors. And so they'll take out two of the competitors and therefore he's got one. But I don't want to see that. I want to see something different. I want to see something different. And that's why I said.
I mean, over this last week, we watched him jump his competitors and try to beat them down a couple of times.
I want to see him. Yeah. I don't know. He puts AJ through the announce table himself. He throws LA Knight into the both slots of steel steps and throws him in the crowd. That gets rid of him and then goes in the ring and he spears Orton 15,000 times if he has to. I don't care. And then Superman punch him another 15,000 and then you can pin. Look, that, he's taken him out himself. And he can quite do that. He's not a small guy.
No, he's really not.
He's
one of the biggest guys out there, actually, I think.
He could easily take all three of these guys out, no help at all. And just because he's a big heel, he doesn't have to take the cheap victory all the time. You can have him as this big, badass freaking heel that can actually win on his own. You can do that. Yeah.
Well, and they, for Friday, they had Orton drop him. Remember when he thought he was gonna sucker punch Orton, and Orton turned around and dropped him on his head?
Yeah, that was. he thought he had Randy. He thought he had Randy, man, and Randy out of nowhere, like as he's known for, RKO, man.
Yeah. And he goes RKO. It's like,
how many times have we seen another heel that Paul Heyman represented didn't need no help at all? Brock Lesnar's been a heel most of his career, never needed any stable to help. Nope. Come to think of it, he has never been part of a stable. Never been part of a team. Never been part of a stable. When he's been a heel, it's been him and Paul. That's it, or just him. When Paul's been with Roman, and he was taking Cody out by himself. So if Brock can do it, and I know Roman's not as big as Brock, but he's big, then Roman should be able to do what Brock can do.
Yep.
You're this big, bad, bruising Samoan. All right? You can do it by yourself.
Yep. You're supposed to be the head of the table. Prove it. I mean, yeah.
I just want to see it once. Twice even. Like, as I said, this match and the WrestleMania match. Let him win on his own. You still have him win, but let him win on his own. As I said, I don't care if he's low blowing him. I don't care if he's using the rope for leverage in a pin. I don't. As long as it's just him doing it. He doesn't need the help. He doesn't. So hopefully there's some people that take out. Well, actually, it depends on when they do it too, because if they have it as the last match, maybe the other two boys get messed up in the Rumble that they really can't come out to help him because they're messed up, right? If it's beforehand, maybe they can have it. Well, they're still not going to come out and help him because they're getting prepared for their match. Because obviously they're going to be in the Rumble as far as I'm aware because they haven't got any other matches lined up, right? So, look, Roman's probably likely going to win. If I had it my way, I'd have Randy Orton winning the damn thing. Or LA Knight. But we're not likely going to get that. Or, as I said, surprise, shock, awe, Damian Priest comes out when Roman's absolutely stuffed after going through a grueling match and beats you. That, I mean, honestly. Um, any one of those three options, anyone that higher up at the Paul Levesque, Triple H, are you listening? Please, for the love of God, have him
Yeah.
take the title off the man, please. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be it. So it's
yeah.
because if it goes with him winning by help, it's just going to be some more of the same. It's like,
Now, here we go. The two big, unpredictable matches.
yeah, there's really no way to predict that. I don't think
We're
so.
going to start with the women's match. I'll get two predictions you could throw out there. First off, the first prediction. Who... Well, not a prediction. It's more of a who would you like. Who would you like to see show up in this match that's currently not on the roster? And it can be a legend.
Actually, I don't even know who's on the roster. Oh, you are just because I don't know who's scheduled to show up in the match. I like being surprised. Um, but can it be a dead person? No, I'm kidding.
Man, if that could happen, then that'd be something.
Yeah, if that could happen, I'd have Rowdy out there getting all rowdy.
But like for the women's match, I could see, for example,
Yeah.
Punk's wife showing up, AJ Lee.
Yeah.
Obviously Trish, possibly Lita.
Yeah.
I mean, we could both go through this. So AJ Lee,
The
Lita,
fabulous
Trish.
Moolah. She's 90. What the hell? Let her win it.
Yeah, that would be something. Or May is May Young still alive?
May.
Yeah, May Young. Still alive?
I think so. I think May might still be alive. Yeah.
Do you think any of the NXT females show up? I know there's been rumors about that Thea Hale because WWE
they could because they could use this as a way to bump them up.
Well, and the fact that if they put her in it, she'll be the youngest competitor in a females Royal Rumble.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah. There's rumors on it. I think some of the NXT girls might show up in it. Her being one of them. Maybe that Tiffany Stratton shows up in it. Maybe, as I said, you'll have some legends in there, of course. And, of course, as I said, the two biggest female free agents that are out there maybe make their return in Trinity, Jimmy Uso's wife, and her best friend, the former Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. Maybe they show up.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But who do you predict to win it? Now, obviously, won't be Rhea because she's got one championship, and it won't be Io Sky because she's got the other. Who do you predict to win the women's?
I would not be surprised at all if it's Rhea, actually. Yeah.
No, it won't be them because they're not in it.
They're not in it at all.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said they were. Okay.
No, Rhea and Io won't be in it because they've already got the championship belt. So it'll be women who haven't. I'm going to throw a real wild card spanner in the works. Charlotte Flair's not going to be in it because she's still out injured, right? I know the most prominent rumored name to take the women's Royal Rumble out is Becky Lynch.
I could see that.
That's what I think will happen, but I'm going to predict Bayley winning.
I was just going to say if Bayley's going to be in there, I mean, because they're working on squeaking Bayley out of her group, so this would be a good way to do that, to break her away.
Well, it would, and they're going to turn her babyface again.
Right.
It would just be a move out of left field because I don't think anybody would really be expecting Bayley to win it. But I'd have her win it and go straight after Io. And you could still build the whole Rhea Becky Lynch match for WrestleMania. You could easily do that because you could have Becky win the females elimination chamber match out here, and then the winner of that goes on to WrestleMania to face Rhea, right? So I'm going to throw Bayley out there because obviously the two most prominent names outside Bayley, that'd be my underdog coming out of nowhere. It's otherwise the rumors have been Becky Lynch or Bianca Belair. But Bianca's had the belt. She was the champion at last year's WrestleMania.
Right.
So I love Bianca. She's one of my favorites, but I don't think she needs to be anywhere near a championship right at this point in time. I think someone else does. Bailey.
No, like I said, Bailey they could use just to move her story forward.
Well, yeah, and Bailey,
Yeah.
man, like she
Because
is
to do this, she would have
undervalued
to
and
beat. She would have to beat the other part of her group. You know, she would have to
she's
throw them
undervalued,
out.
underappreciated from fans. She really is, and
Well, I gotta say personally, I'm not a big Bailey fan based on this character that I've gotten to know. Like,
no, I am. I
yeah.
love this character. I love their initial babyface character, but this character's done a lot like for her. But I love her work, day in, day out. This woman is at every live event, unless she's injured. She's at every live event. She's at every
Right.
show. She's one of the hardest workers on the women roster, and I really would like to. I think they're going. I don't think they're gonna. When they turn a baby face, they're gonna turn her into that little kid with her bloody colourful outfits and her freaking side ponytail and the bloody big blow up bloody things. The hugger Bailey. I don't think you're gonna get that back, but I think they're gonna tweak her character a little bit where, obviously the fans are gonna attach to her as a babyface. But I love her in this. Like, you could have her as a badass babyface, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's
What's funny to me is she's so much bigger than the rest of her group.
Yeah, I mean, she's got this
she
badass
really is.
sort of punkish look, I guess you could say, to a degree, with her hairstyle and stuff like that. So you could literally, I know she hasn't got the high flying style of Lita, but she could be like that badass baby face like Lita was, where she wasn't the smiley, like kissing babies fucking person, but she was, people got behind her because, they loved their attitude and stuff like that. So
Yep.
I would love to see Bailey win it. I really would, because, as I said, it would be unexpected. I don't think most fans are expecting or have her on the bingo card to win it. But for me, I want to see someone different in these title reigns. Like, so, it'd be good. It'd be cool. And as I said, I think she's earned it because she just works her butt off, man. She really does. She really works her butt off. She does a lot for upcoming females. Like, she helps out with people in NXT, the females down there. Like, she just does a lot, man. And she does a lot for promotional work and stuff like that. As I said, one of the hardest workers out there, and I've got a lot of time, a lot of praise for her. And it'd just be good to see her get a moment. Again, whether or not it's going to happen, as I said, because it probably is going to be likely Becky or Bianca, but I'd love to see a new direction. But as for the men's match, man, again, just as unpredictable. Obviously, the top two names, the names that seem to be most rumoured and most focused on to take it out, is either Cody or CM Punk.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I'm only seeing so far right now there's only 6 guys confirmed for the match. So
yeah, that's what I mean. So
yeah,
we're going to do it the opposite way around here. Who's your prediction to take it out? The men's.
I'd like Cody so he gets his belt shot, but we know that's probably not going to happen. So uh of the group of the 6 that I see, I could actually see Drew walking away with it.
Be interesting. That would be interesting.
Yeah. I know you're into more of the storylines and stuff. I'm just looking at it to be interesting to see something different.
Yeah. I feel as if it's really, really tough, man. Like, I literally do think it's either going to be Punk or Cody Rhodes. I think it's going to be one or the other. But I'm going to go with Punk. I think Because this is why I'm going to lean
Oh, you and
slightly
I may
punk.
have to have a wager on this. I'll take Cody, you take Punk.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean slightly punk. Now the reason I say that is if, as we know, plans change with Seth.
Yeah.
Um, I'd love for them to say get a storyline out of it where we give the Royal Rumble winner the belt, right? Which therefore, if it's a Punk, now, hear me out on this. That allows them, because the crowd's going to be like, ooh, that's not good. They haven't had their match for it, right? But you turn Punk heel, which is what I want, right? By giving him the belt. He goes on his tangent, I'm the best in the world, rah, rah, rah. You get babyface Cody coming out, well, you may have won the Rumble match, but you didn't earn that belt. You're only been given it because you won the Rumble match and Seth's outright. And that leads the build-up of babyface Cody going to WrestleMania to take on champion heel Punk, right? If that's the backup plan, right? Because Cody ain't going to go heel, right? So it's got to be Punk in that situation. That would be one way to get Punk in, because I know he's got his fans right now too, and they're cheering him and right. But that would get him instant heat. If Triple H came out and said, sorry, Seth's handing over the title, and he decides, you know what, we've come to a decision, me and the board of the directors have come to a decision, and we believe this is the right decision to make. We are going to give this title over to the Royal Rumble winner, CM Punk. And that would get him instant heat. Instantly. Because the fans aren't going to like it in the sense of, well, this is bullshit, the Royal Rumble winner. That all you do by getting the winner of the Royal Rumble is your chance to go to WrestleMania to have a chance to win the title. But now you're getting just handed the title, right? You would get, as I said, it would get instant freaking heat. It would turn him heel instantly. That would be, it'd be so simple to do.
It would. But I don't think Seth would, given what Seth said tonight, I don't think Seth would go for that. You know what I'm saying?
No, Seth wouldn't. He definitely wouldn't be freaking happy with that, especially because storyline wise, how he reacted when Punk returned. But geez, that is still in my mind. Bloody Michael Cole of all people holding Seth back. But yeah, no, I'm gonna lead Punk because I still have in my mind that they have Cody later on down the line defeating Roman, and that's how me and you have discussed this, that's how Cody's got to finish his story. Winning Seth's belt isn't finishing the story. The story is with Roman's belt, and right now, in my opinion, there is no point in Cody Rhodes winning it, because as we know, the winner of the Royal Rumble gets the choice of their champ at main event in WrestleMania. The Rock is currently in his way of actually finishing his story. We know that the plan currently, unless something drastically happens behind the scenes and changes their way of thinking, Roman's not dropping this belt until at least SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
So that's another reason I'm leading Punk over Cody, because Punk winning sets him up for Seth, right? So I'm just thinking storyline wise and how they're sort of planning. And then you still got to find a way at some point to get Cody in Roman's sights. So, as we're well aware, but here we go. But then
again, even if Cody were to win this belt or take the belt from Seth,
well,
the belt was created because Roman is sitting on this one.
Yeah. So my way of thinking is,
couldn't they reunify the belt?
We know what happens after WrestleMania every time. So after WrestleMania, the next big thing after WrestleMania is they do, every year, the WWE draft.
Right.
That's when, that is their opportunity to draft Cody to SmackDown, and he can then start building that feud with Roman. And what I would do is I would draft him to SmackDown and move LA Knight to Raw.
Oh, that'd be wild. Oh,
yeah.
That would be wild.
because I'm thinking long term here now, right? Once Cody finishes the story with Roman and he's on SmackDown, I would then go ahead and change Randy Orton back to a heel, and you could finally do Cody and Randy, which have got history there because Randy was his leader in the Legacy group.
Right.
And used to treat him and Ted DiBiase Jr. like shit as his lackeys, and typical, you know. And so that's what I'll do, because again, don't get me wrong, Randy's cool as a babyface, but he is so much better as a heel, and we all damn well know it. Just remember the stuff he did in the feuds with John Cena when he was a badass, aggressive, violent, sadistic heel. That's the Orton I want to see come back and challenge Cody Rhodes. Once Cody defeats Roman, man, that would be a feud for the freaking ages, man. Finally, basically, student coming back and has to defend his title against the teacher, right?
Yep.
So
and that happens long enough in the future, far enough in the future, that it allows him to enjoy being a babyface, because I think he's really enjoying.
Oh, he does.
Being this positive babyface.
He's a dad of young kids himself, Randy, and that. But yeah, we got to get heel Orton back at some point. Just like I know Punk's enjoying his little time at the moment as a babyface himself, but we know both these gentlemen work so much better as heels. They just do. You love to hate Punk, just like it's not a love to hate with Randy when he's a heel. It's just that he does his best work as a heel. He really freaking does. Like, the man just goes crazy a lot, you know. But man, that's long-term booking right there. But as for surprises, man, as I said, for the men's, again, you've got Okada, who's a free agent. I'm not going to say he is or he isn't, but question marks with MJF. He might be, he might not be. You've got Tama Tonga and a few other people in New Japan that have finished up. Sean Spears, he's finished up, and as I said, he's another one like MJF. He's friends with Cody. Who else is?
Well, and you've got some. If they're going to move up some of the women NXT types, they're probably going to bump up some of the guys from NXT as well.
This would be an opportunity to finally bring Bron Breakker up to the main roster.
Yeah, which they need to do, actually. Bron needs...
he's done everything in NXT. He really has. There's nothing left for him to do. So I'd be bringing him up. I think also I'd be bringing up Carmelo. He could probably be in the Rumble since he's been on SmackDown lately. I think the other guy, Dragon Lee, will probably be in the Rumble. He's ready for the main roster now too. Like, he's going to be taking Rey Mysterio's spot as the big babyface luchador. So yeah, I mean, there's a few guys there. And yeah, man, like Alexander Hammerstone's also a free agent. I know he just did a thing with TNA, but he's a free agent. He's got no contract to anybody. Who else is out there that's a free agent? I said there's a bunch in New Japan. But Okada, man, like, I really feel Okada might show up at the Rumble, man. I'd go off if he does, man. That would be something special. And especially if he comes in and he targets Shinsuke in the Rumble, starts beating up his best friend. But it would get a reaction from the crowd because he is actually well known to the American audience. That's what I said. He is a huge superstar.
You know what might be interesting? I mean, if I were looking at it from a drama standpoint and a surprise, is have Okada win the Rumble, and as he's celebrating, or have Shinsuke win the Rumble, and as he's celebrating, have Okada come out and put him down.
Yeah, that'd be funny, man. But
because that would introduce Okada in a strong way.
Either that, or you could build to a WrestleMania match by the two by having Okada come in like late as one of the last final competitors, and he comes in and he costs Shinsuke a chance to.
Yeah.
And so you build off it from there. And I'm telling you now, the first if MJF shows up in this Rumble, the first thing that's popping in my mind is, Tony Khan, I'm being right about you the whole time. You're an effing idiot. You're an effing. If you let the youngest, most talented guy in your company walk, you're an idiot. I mean, he's already proven to me he's an idiot by getting rid of Punk when he really shouldn't have. He just needed to step up as a owner and grow some balls and really just sort through that situation instead of giving up the one person and the only person still so far that put asses in seats and sold tickets for you and sold merchandise. But if he lets MJF go, man, that really would be the signal of the downfall of AEW, because that's their future, man. Is MJF?
Yeah.
MJF is their future.
What's funny is, from what I can tell, their Wednesday shows are still doing very well. They still manage to put together decent Wednesday shows.
Yeah, their other two shows aren't doing too good, though.
Yeah.
Collision and Rampage, they might have to do away with and just go back to one show, because TNT's like not really happy with those ratings that are coming in. And if WWE has their way like they have in the past and says to WB, you need to get AEW off of here because we only want to be on this network and that's it. AEW is going to be up shit's creek without a paddle, because they're going to have no major network. And WWE has done that in the past. They've got other wrestling promotion kicked off a network because they want that it's their network now. They're there.
But again, that was under Vince, and they may not be as hardcore now, you know.
No, that's true too. But I would, just to be...
Yeah.
You know, at least with AEW, I wouldn't care if it was TNA, because if it was just TNA, I'd be like, no worries. But Tony's taken that many shots towards that other company, and he has wrestlers take shots all the time. Like, that's the other thing that pisses me off with AEW. They're constantly talking about WWE. It's like, focus on your own damn product. Don't worry about the other guys. Like, that's what fans hate, is the fact that you constantly bring them up all the time. Like, it's one of the things that played into WCW's downfall, because they did it a bit. It was funny at the start when they were doing it, and then it really did. It got just, they overdone it all the time, and people were like, you know what, we're getting turned off by this. We tune into you guys. We don't want to hear about the other company. We turn into you guys.
Well, yeah.
And Tony himself has taken shots at WWE, and
I know, like, and he takes heat for it, and it's like, but I think that comes from Tony the fan, not Tony the owner, and I think
exactly. That's where the mark comes out in him. He's a big time mark, and I'm sitting there going, don't frickin'. Your company is such a mess right now. You should be focused on your own damn company. No point bloody bad mouthing the WWE when they're kicking your ass. I mean, NXT's kicking your ass. Now, Dynamite does all right numbers, but NXT still does better numbers than it. Most weeks, NXT is kicking. And that's, you know, viewed as WWE's developmental territory. And it's kicking your ass, right? And I'm telling you now, if this uprising in TNA starts doing better numbers, especially whilst they're still on the bloody Access TV... Wow, like, you really are in a lot of trouble. And Booker T had a recent interview, and he actually truly believes that by year's end, TNA once again is going to be the second biggest promotion in North America. It's going to overtake AEW. And right now, I can see it. I can see it, because people actually want to go to TNA. You're not hearing so many people want to go to AEW anymore. If anything, you're hearing people want to get out of AEW. And, like, you look at Andrade's story of why he wanted to leave. He was fed up. He was really fed up by the misuse and the mishandling of his character. He was sick of it. He even talked about how Tony promised him to push him into the main event. That never fucking happened. At all. That in his whole run, he was never ever near that AEW world title.
Wow. Yeah,
and so he'll come back to, that's another name I expect to see show up at the Rumble. Pretty sure a deal's already been done with WWE. As I said, his wife's there. Just like I see Trinity coming back to WWE because her husband's there. So yeah, man, Right now, the two best promotions in town in North America are WWE and TNA. If you're going to work for promotions, it needs to be one or the other. Because I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't tell anybody to go sign with AEW, even if they had the best offer. Like when it came to money wise, it just wouldn't be worth it. Really, it really wouldn't. Like, yeah, you'd be getting good money, but are you really going to? Character going to be used correctly? Are you going to be put in a situation where it's going to succeed? Are you? Is it going to add to your legacy or build a legacy off of it or not? You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas in the other two companies, you can. You know, WWE is the best in the game at the moment. TNA's back on the uprise and really looking the goods. Like since Hard to Kill, they've had an impact or two now. And like it's starting to remind me back of the old TNA when TNA was really freaking good.
Right.
And I'm loving what I'm seeing. So, and you can tell their production, like their whole entrance, the Titan, like that's all bigger and better. The presentation's bigger and better. They're in bigger arenas. So they're coming for AEW. They're coming for AEW, and I personally think the only thing really holding AEW afloat is that the Khan's money's there. The minute Daddy pulls his money, though, that's when that company's going to be in a lot of trouble. And if they, I know their contract at some point this year with WB, with TNT and TBS and that is up. If they don't stay on a major network like that, they are in serious.
Mm.
And if I was another major network, I wouldn't even look at them right. Because they're not appealing. They're really not. They're not appealing. I would rather have WWE. I'd rather have TNA. Heck, I would rather make a deal with New Japan and say, hey, can we put you on a major network to really showcase you to the American audience, you know? AEW right now is undesirable. They really are. And they've slowly disintegrated into that since Cody left.
Right.
And I truly do. I know he won't ever talk about it, and he's not one really to badmouth anybody, but I truly think there's more to the situation as to why he left than what he's put out in the public eye. I really do.
I could see that. Yeah.
I know he didn't. I know for starters that he didn't like the direction it was going in. He thought they were going to take more of a WWE approach, and they haven't. Like with storylines and I know he butted heads with the Young Bucks, but I also think there was a bigger blow up than what's been led on between him and Tony Khan. Again, this is not factual. This is just something I believe. I've seen trickles of stuff out there, and it's the fact. I commend him for not wanting to badmouth anyone and that, but it's a fact that he stayed so tight-lipped, usually in situations like that. Things have ended on a very, very sour note. And so I truly believe that there's more to it than what's been put out there and what's been led on to believe. I know Tony's completely down. Oh, no, we're cool, rah, rah, rah. I don't think so much. Because I've gotten to the point where I truly believe now WWE is grooming Cody to be one of their top executives backstage when he finally hangs it up. And I don't ever foresee him returning to AEW. I don't.
And I've said the same thing. Yeah. I've said, you know, it really does look like they're grooming, because I've already said, I said last week, they're putting him in the position they used to put Triple H in.
Yes.
You're going to be the guy front and center in the middle of the ring giving the announcements.
And there's more history in that company when it pertains to his dad, and we know how close he was with his dad and how big of a deal, you know, finishing that Rhodes legacy is and having that around. I mean, NXT is his dad's baby, is his dad's creation. Yeah, I at one point I felt, you know, he was going to go back here, he was going to finish out his career, like actual in-ring career, and he was just going to learn as much as he could and then go back and be one of the top execs in AEW. I don't see that now. Because he's also probably sitting back since he's gone back to WWE and watched how they've treated his freaking brother.
Yeah.
Which I think's been absolutely disgusting. How they've done Dustin Rhodes over there. Really, really have. You can't even give that man a run with like the TNT Championship or Orange Cassidy's title. Like, okay, yeah, he's in his 50s or whatever he is, so no, you wouldn't want him as your world champ. Like, come on, man. Like, this guy can still put on a hell of a match, right? He's done everything you've asked of him. He has no trouble putting over younger guys. But I would love, before he hangs it up, for him to have at least one run with one of those, whether it's the TNT Championship or the, what is it, the International Championship that Orange Cassidy's got. Like, you could at least give him that,
Right.
as a thank you thing, and give him a little decent run. But they have really, okay, put it this way, I haven't seen a company mishandle Dustin Rhodes as bad as this since he was in WCW, and they did the atrocity that they did with him, where they turned him, painted him basically pure white, where he was made to look like a ghost, and called him Seven. And then he came out. He didn't even portray the character. The debut episode that he debuted of that character, and he completely broke character, and he was like, stick it up your ass, shove this up your ass, like, and he left. He left, right? He hasn't been treated this poorly since then. And, yeah, I don't think Cody would be too happy with how things have been handled over there with Dustin, even, the whole company, as I said, you can just tell the whole vibe, the whole aura around AEW has totally changed since Cody left. It really has. It was on a high. It looked like it was going places. It looked like people wanted to be a part of it. People wanting to leave WWE to come over there, and then things started to break down with Cody and the Young Bucks and Tony and whatever else went on, and he left, and it's just been all downhill from there. And as I said, two of his friends, and they're younger guys, but two of his friends that are there, whether it happens now, whether it happens later, both MJF and Ricky Starks are going to leave and come to the WWE. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing with Cody Rhodes, is WWE has a hell of a recruiter. So he could recruit any of those young guys. The minute he knows that their contract's coming up, I guarantee he's on the phone to them. Hey, come over here. The grass is actually greener over here. You will be used correctly. You will be treated a lot better. Who cares if Tony's offering you an extra $1 million? Do you really just want that extra money and, have a real stagnating, boring fucking time? Or do you want to come over here where they know how to frickin' do stuff? And promote you and present you. This is
the only part that I'm sure there's part of him that is kind of to watch this happen to a company that he basically created. It's got to sting a little bit,
It does. It would. The only thing it wouldn't sting is at least it's not been his money that's being thrown away. But, like,
right,
he had one idea of how that company was going to be built and the direction it was going to go in, and Tony and the Young Bucks had completely different ideas. That's where one thing where they did butt heads, and Cody just didn't like. Cody was like, you know what, we don't need to be a New Japan clone. This isn't going to work for this particular audience. You need to have more of a WWE TNA. You need to be able to tell stories, and if you're not telling stories, it's pretty freaking boring. And from a story point of view, AEW is as boring as watching paint dry.
Like we've always said, Tony's good at putting together a card, but there's never a reason for the card.
No. The rest
aside from I want to see it.
You get some great wrestling matches, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you don't. But
right.
outside of those awesome wrestling matches, it's really boring. I don't like how, Sting's retirement's being handled. I don't like how they've handled and misrepresented and mistreated Edge. And Adam Copeland, since, like, I don't know. It's just it's in a real awkward, bad place right now, and I've said time and time again, things need to drastically
Yep.
change because it
And
will.
that open challenge for Edge is still sitting open.
Yeah.
Nobody like it's like almost like they don't know what to do with it.
No, I
They
know.
haven't decided yet. They haven't decided yet. You know.
Like even I know I don't know if it was him who came up, but the lame thing that they call it, the Cope Open. I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh my god. But all I know is things have to change because it'll come a time where Shad Khan will come in and say, sorry, son, more money's going out than coming in. Business isn't as good as what I thought this was going to be or what it was initially, even. I'm pulling my funding. If you can keep it afloat with your own money, then by all means. But I'm not throwing away any more money, and because he helped Tony invest to get it off the ground. Now, as I said, I'm not behind the scenes, so whether or not he's still using a lot of Daddy's money or if he is actually using, I don't know. But if he's using his own money, he's not as rich as his father. He's rich, but he's not as rich as his father. His father has got most of it. The Jaguars as his father's, the soccer team's his father, right? So either one or two things will happen. If Shard's still happening, Shard's going to get annoyed and go, nah, I'm pulling my side of funding. Or if he is funding it himself, well, then the money's going to dry up eventually, especially if they get thrown off of WB's programming. That would be a killer blow. If they lose being on TNT and TBS, man. And then you have to shop yourself around, and all the other networks are going to probably be like, we don't want to touch this. This is a ratings. This isn't a ratings winner. It's a ratings killer. Like, So as I said, I'd be more inclined right now, if I didn't have WWE on my network, I'd be more looking at TNA than I would be AEW. So interesting times, man. But Royal Rumble. As I said, I'll either keep to this match card of 4 matches, which, when you look at it, it looks like it'll cover 3 hours, or otherwise, maybe by the end of the week, we might have one more match possibly added to it, which I would be thinking maybe because you currently don't have, you don't have Gunter defending his title, but because you got the United States Championship on there, you don't necessarily need the IC title being defended. So you got the mid card being defended. You got the one of the world.
And unless I've missed anything too, they haven't made any more announcements tonight.
No, the only thing I think could be added is the tag team championships being defended, or one of the women's championships being defended. Because Rhea hasn't got a solo match. Io hasn't got a solo match.
Right.
So, and Rhea was on Raw tonight, so it's probably likely that she won't be defending her title at the Rumble. So maybe on SmackDown they set up a match for Io to defend her belt, maybe. That's probably the only thing. Other than that, maybe the tag team championships get put on the line. I don't know, but other than that, this could be the set card of just having these 4, as I said, because usually the Rumble matches each go pretty much an hour or over an hour each, and Roman's match will at least be 20 minutes to half an hour. So there's 2.5 hours there. You've only got really half an hour, 20 minutes to fill, and you might get that out of Logan Paul, Kevin Owens. So.
Right.
And even then, you might have a match on the pre-card, maybe. Maybe one of the women or the tag team championships get defended on the pre-show, and that's where the 5th match happens, is on the pre-show. So it's interesting, and like you said, for the men's Royal Rumble match, there's only been 9 out of the 30 entrants have been announced. Only 9. Which is Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shinsuke, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Gunter, Chad Gable, Otis, and Akira Tozawa.
And I don't see Otis lasting long, even though he's a big boy. I don't see him.
No,
Yeah.
no. As for the women's Royal Rumble match, only 5 competitors out of the 30 have been announced, which is Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Maxine Dupree. So, interesting.
Yep.
You still got 25 women to add to that.
Yeah.
And you've still got 21 males to add to the men's Royal Rumble. I'm surprised they've only got now looking at it, so few announced so far. Like, obviously there'll be a few.
Yeah, that's what seemed weird to me too. We're a week out, and
and you've
there's
only
that
got
many.
you've only got. Obviously on NXT you might get some NXT people announcing there, so that'll add to it. And then you got SmackDown, but even then I guarantee it'll hit SmackDown and you probably will still have 10 to 15 or so for the men's probably not announced. And God, the women, Jesus Christ, 25 still to go. This is why I'm saying for both matches it's so unpredictable, because right now you don't even know over half the field for both of them.
Right.
Over half the field for both of them. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is why I reckon we're probably going to get more surprise entrants in both the men's and the women's, more so than we have in the past few years. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man. As I said, I always look forward to the Royal Rumble. It's always one of the better pay-per-views outside WrestleMania every year. One of the most unpredictable. And, only really one match on the whole card. That is predictable. Come on, WWE, surprise us. And, as I said, and have Roman lose the belt.
It'd be nice if they would surprise us once,
Yeah, we can only hope, brother. We can dream, I suppose. But no, folks, that's all we've got for you this week. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you're all looking forward to the Royal Rumble, because it's as I said, it's going to be epic. And it's a kickoff. It's the official kickoff of the WrestleMania season. So watch that this Sunday, I believe it is.
The 27th, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, the 27th. So sorry, it's this Saturday. Sorry, so I was wrong. I thought it was Sunday. I thought it was the 28th. So yeah, this Saturday, they do a catch, and it will be down Paul's neck of the woods at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. So should be some great things happening there. And of course, WWE 2K24, we'll probably see more of that at the Rumble and hear more about it in the weeks to
I'm
follow.
sure every ad's going to be, especially leading into the men's thing. They're going to Cody's face going to be all over your screen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As I said, and they've got 3 fantastic covers this year, so I'm happy about that as well.
Yep.
As I said, 200 plus wrestlers and legends. Woo! Abundance of people you're going to be able to play in that game, so that's good too. But Paul, did you want to let the fine folks know everywhere they can find you, brother?
All over the place. You can find me on Twitter at Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul. On Mondays, you can find me right here on 4GQ TV. On Tuesdays, you can find me on the Xbox Ambassador channel at For Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul at 12:30 p.m. Eastern or Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday night, you can find me with Director Renegades. Thursday, you can find me back here on 4GQ TV for a regular 4GQ TV show. And then on Fridays, you can find me wasted with Wise.
There you go, folks. And of course, you can find me under the Moon Man at the app formerly known as Twitter. You can find me also here every Monday evening with the Cerebral One himself for the Pop-Up Powerbomb podcast. Although we won't be here next week, Paul will probably hopefully be doing something if Carlo can set it up, because I'll be busy with in real life stuff, very, very important stuff. But we'll be back there properly again the week after. Every Wednesday evening as well with the Backlog Bastards podcast, which we will be doing coming Wednesday evening. We talk everything gaming. Outside that, you can find me on the Xbox app, on the Steam, on the Epic stores if you're on Epic as well, gaming wise. But other than that, enjoy. If you haven't caught up on Raw, hope you enjoy that. NXT tomorrow night, SmackDown on the Friday, TNA as well, AEW if you're not bored of it now, and then Saturday with the big Royal Rumble. But thank you everybody for joining us, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the evening or rest of the day wherever you may be. Till next time, we will see you all very, very soon. Good night, everybody.